Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Runners Wanted, the last episode of Runners Wanted for 2020. I am ZoeVermilion, and I will be your host here today. We have a few fantastic runs that are all rhythm-esque planned, starting with Sayonara Wild Hearts, run by Boring Cactus. But before we get to that, I have a few brief announcements to make. EGDQ 2021 online is right around the corner, taking place January 3rd to January 10th of 2021. So that is, I believe, like 2 weeks from today-ish. It's very soon. I can't do math though. And the schedule is now out, so head over to the website at gamesdonequick.com. And prize submissions are also open until the end of today. So these are your final hours to get those in if you want to. For those of our viewers who are watching on YouTube, if you would like to support our live content, please consider checking out our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick or GDQ. And if you are viewing our live streamed content and have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to any Twitch channel of your choice every month for free. Please consider using your Prime Gaming account to support the weekly GDQ Hotfix content, because Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits. We would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to support future broadcasts. And that is enough for me for now. So take it away, y'all.
What is up, gamers and gentlemen? I am your friendly neighborhood succulent, Boring Cactus. And today I have for you Sayonara Wild Hearts. Before we get started, I'm going to let my couch introduce themselves.
Hello, I am Ash Arya.
I'm JPJ.
Hey there, I'm Calumet.
Okay, and so this game is kind of like a rhythm arcade type thing, made by Simogo, who mostly have made like small, like interesting experimental phone games in the past. And this is like a step in a new direction for them, and it's very cool. And this category is the all riddles category. And so there are 24 zodiac riddles in the game, which are the game's achievements, and each of them has a hint text. And this one that we're looking at right now, the hint text is, "I took a dozen quick breaks," and that's the first riddle that we're going to get, because what that's trying to get us to do is spam pause a dozen times in a row. And so we are going to go for that. That'll get us that achievement, and then we'll have to get the 23 others. And this game has a lot of flashing lights. There's one level in particular that's really bad for it, but if you are sensitive to bright flashing lights, then unfortunately this probably isn't the game for you. But apart from that, it's a very good video game, and we're starting fresh from a clean save file so that we can get all of the achievements from scratch. I don't think there's any more preamble that I need. Couch, do y'all have anything else?
I think we can take care of the rest as you're doing
Okay.
Clear the Loon.
So,
Let's talk.
I'm going to, timing starts when I start the first level in the game, which is going to happen in 3, 2, 1, now.
All right, so just as we start, Boring Cactus is going to go for a couple things. First off, the 12 pauses Z mentioned a moment ago, which is going to grant her Taurus B, which you will see popping up down there. And then at the end of this stage, Z is aiming to go for less than the points Z would need for bronze rank, because
Well,
there is another riddle.
We're going to come back for that.
Right, yes.
Yeah, because... So yeah, the way that the scoring works, you get points for picking stuff up, and a couple other things that we will get into in a bit, and you can get enough points for a bronze rank, or a silver, or a gold, and we need to get a gold on every single level in order to unlock one of the special modes. There are 2 achievements that we need to do in that mode. And so we need to get a gold on every level. And what I'm going to do at the end of this level is I'm going to pause and quit to menu the moment that the text gold rank starts to show up. Because if I don't do that, then what'll happen is there'll be a slow pan over to the next level in the level select screen. And that's slow. We don't want that. So we're going to play this level again. And this time, we're not going to get a gold rank. We're going to get as few points as possible. Because there's another riddle where the hint text is, there is no place for me on the podium of a starway. And the place where this level is set, I forgot to point it out at the time, but there's the text at the bottom left that says something Starway.
Bittersweet Starway.
Thank you, Bittersweet Starway. And no place on the podium, no medal, not bronze, not silver, not gold, nothing. And so we need to avoid getting points. And so right now we are just trying to not pick anything up. And this is one of the things that I find really interesting about the all riddles category specifically, because like any percent and the any percent derived categories tend to be fairly repetitive, because the essentially, since the level is synced to the music, then basically the entire game is an auto-scroller. And so any percent involves a lot of execution and not necessarily a whole lot of like interesting like strategy or routing or anything. But all riddles requires some optimal play and some anti-optimal play and some precisely in the middle play.
Shout out to my mom who got no podium first try by accident.
Yeah, shout out to Calave's mom.
Yeah, and so we didn't go into it specifically, but the way the scoring works is when you pick something up, you can, the first small heart is worth 1 point, and the next is worth 2 points, the next is worth 3, and so on. And the large hearts work the same way, but in increments of 25. So the first is worth 25.
3. Can somebody explain this for?
Right, yes. So in Doki Doki Rush, Cactus is trying to get 20 riskies. You get a risky when you do a near miss on something that would have killed you. And Cancer A is a riddle that references this level in particular. Perhaps one of the actual runners of this game can remember the actual text of it. So what Cactus is doing here is counting the riskies he's getting.
I'm not gonna have enough, am I? Nope. Oh, hey,
Nope.
I did it. Just barely, but I got
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, we need to get 20 riskies on that level for one of the riddles. And we could come back and do it later, but it's a little bit faster to do it there. We're actually going to start this level, quit to menu, start it again. And then this level actually requires... There's a riddle on this level that requires us to get all good on these QuickTime events, and so we have to press them not at the exact moment that the game wants us to, but slightly off, but not too far off, because then we'll get an okay. And so we have to be precisely mediocre. We can't be actively good at the game, but we can't be terrible at it. We have to be the exact perfect amount of technically acceptable, I guess. And
just to highlight this, this is the most runners that do this. Just find this particular riddle the hardest to get.
Cactus, you are going to have to reset this level after this anyways.
Right. Okay, I got the riddle, but I forgot to get a gold rank because it just told me I got bronze.
Yeah.
That's gonna throw off Cube Root.
Yeah, that's so hard. It's always crazy to watch this during commentary. That takes like so much concentration.
Okay, because I pulled off the riddle first try, which never happens, and I was talking the whole time, but I forgot to actually get a gold rank, which means that I have to play the level again, and also that throws off one of the only actual skips in the run. So
Right,
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go back in and play this level again. Because, okay, so there's a riddle that's play the next level, which is called Begin Again, and get a gold rank on it 3 times in a row. But it's a very slow level, and we don't want to play it 3 times in a row. So what we can do is if we start, because the way that it tracks, because it counts how many times in a row you've got a gold on the last level you played, and it tracks the last level you played. But what it tracks is the last level you started, not the last level you finished. So when we quit to menu at the start of this level the first time, we were tricking the game into thinking that the golds that we got before on Doki Doki Rush, which was the previous level, was actually on this level. And so if we had got a gold, then we would have had 2 golds in a row as far as the game was concerned on this level. And now we are back to having 2 golds in a row on this level as far as the game is concerned. And so what we do is we start the next level, which is Begin Again, and once it starts, we quit to menu, and then we start it again, and now the game thinks, since the last level we started was Begin Again, and so the current level we started is Begin Again, then it thinks that the 2 golds in a row that we have were on Begin Again, and so now we only have to play this level 1 time to get the achievement for getting a gold on it 3 times in a row.
Which is a massive time save.
During a charity stream?
Yeah, I think we found that skip by accident in 2 different parts. I died halfway through this level in practice and forgot, and instead of just restarting, I quit to menu and restarted, and then I only had to play it twice, and JPJ and I were super confused, like what on earth just happened? And so we went to the marathon that we were doing like the next day, and went, hey, we don't understand why this glitch works, but if we die here and quit out to menu, then we only have to play this level twice. But in that marathon, on fighting, there was a donation incentive we had to watch all the cutscenes, and on Fighting Hearts, I had forgotten to watch the cutscene, so I quit out to menu and restarted that level to watch the cutscene before I went for dying halfway through this level and quitting to menu and restarting. And so I accidentally figured out that you could do it after just 1. And then after that marathon, JPJ and I sat down and just tried to figure out how on earth that actually worked. And we took a look at some of the decompiled source code of the game, and I noticed, oh yeah, it updates the most recent level that you played based on what you start, not what you finish. So that's one of the 2, I think, bugs in the game that we can exploit in the speedrun. The other one may or may not come up. I'll mention it when we get there. But yeah, that skip is more impressive if I, don't screw things up on the way there. But even so, that made this category way less exhausting, because this level is great, and it's the first level where the game is really the thing that it is, and I wish I wasn't talking so that you could just listen to and appreciate the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is so good, but I have a lot to say, and I don't know how to stop talking, so...
Don't worry, Cactus. If you weren't talking, we would.
Okay.
It blows my mind. 2 hours is the estimate now.
Yeah, I remember, like, when I started, because I was the first person to run this category.
Hey, let me cut in for a second. Don't forget One Punch KO.
Thank you. There's a riddle that I always forget to go for, and it's because it slows down the game.
Do one punch. Okay.
One punch, and then we get a riddle for knocking out one of the bosses in one punch.
There you go.
And I always forget to do it, so thank you, Couch, for reminding me. Because I would be very sad if the run wasn't valid because I had to go back in and do that after the fact. But yeah, this, like, the previous couple levels are where the game, like, starts to be what it can really be. But then this is the first level where all of the game's mechanics start coming together. And you really get a sense of, like, just how talented, like the visual design is so good, and the soundtrack is amazing, and just like the level design.
I would like to remind people, or like inform people who may have never seen this game. Aside from 3D modeling and the music, this game was made by 2 people. It was over a period of 5 years. But the core team of this game was 2 people, and like, wow.
And there, oh, that's not the button I wanted. There's that riddle.
There you go. So you saw Cactus getting Leo A, which is the one that the community sometimes calls Begin Again, 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 which is what Z was explaining earlier, having to do gold on Begin Again 3 times in a row, but cube root means we don't have to.
Yeah, and so, because since typing out Begin Again, Again, Again makes the split abbreviate to just BAAA, and that's not very useful. We call that Begin... I have the split for that on my stream is just Begin Again cubed, and so... Since that lets us go from playing Begin Again 3 times to just playing it once, then the name we came up for that skip was Cube Root.
The lore.
Yeah. That...
I'm seeing a comment on the chat with saying, I just want to know how they got Queen Latifah. And given that the few following levels are just a straightforward try to get all golds.
Yeah, if you want to tell that story, because the narrator in this game is actually voiced by Queen Latifah. If you want to tell that anecdote, go off.
Yeah, so I found an interview while I was investigating the developers who are a small studio called Semogo, who is composed by just 2 guys, Simon and Magnus. Gordon Magnus. I don't know, he has 2 names, I don't understand. So there's this interview they're doing with some publication asking, oh yeah, how did you get Queen Latifah about it, to get involved? And on the interview it said, like, they said it would have been fun to have someone unexpected narrating the story. And Simon Flesser says, I had been out for a beer or 2, and I was feeling somewhat jestful. And when our producer asked me who I had in mind, I said Queen Latifah, not being super serious, because I thought it would be so far out of reach. Some weeks passed, and our publisher sent us a message saying that Queen Latifah would be able to record the next day. Which is just amazing.
Oh yeah, also
epilepsy warning here.
Yeah, this level in particular is one of the ones that's really bad about flashing lights. Like, this makes my head hurt, and flashing lights usually don't have that effect super much on me. what I always say in my streams is rip monitor users, because like usually when people when there's a super loud noise, people will say rip headphone users. This is just that, but for monitor users.
Yeah. Just a few more seconds, and then you're safe to look back.
Sweet.
Perfect. Yeah, this whole game needs a photosensitivity warning, but this game, along with maybe Wild Hearts Never Die, are particularly egregious.
There's also the
Inside.
yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, the things that you can pick up that are worth points, there's the small hearts, there's the big hearts, there's also those like square coins that you may or may not have been seeing. I'll draw your attention to the next one that I pick up, if I remember. Oh, we didn't even talk about tree coin. We'll talk about that one the next time we see it.
We did miss tree coin. Yeah. So the square coins are basically a collectible that you can get on each of them.
I am so close. Okay. I'm salty. I got a silver by like 100 points,
Yeah.
and that's gonna throw off cutscenes.
Well, cutscenes were already thrown off.
Not drastically, because I could just. I'll go in after YOLO and farm.
Right. So a little reminder for all of the achievements that we're going for over multiple stages. The first one of them is that we need to get gold on all of the stages in order to unlock something called YOLO Arcade, which is the entire game, but you only have one life. We're also trying to get all square coins because that's one of the riddles that we need to solve. It's Taurus A. And there's also the cutscenes, the skip cutscenes riddle, which someone else may be able to explain better than me.
So yeah, there's a riddle I was consecutively in a hurry in 10 different places, I think is the hint text.
Yep.
And the way that that's implemented, you have to skip cutscenes in 10 different levels, and so it keeps track of which levels you have recently skipped a cutscene in, and when you skip a cutscene, it checks to see if you have already skipped a cutscene in that level recently in its list that it has, and if you have, then it will it'll reset to just having the one that you just skipped, and you need to get that to 10 different levels in order to get the riddle. So ordinarily, if I do everything perfectly, I get that riddle like 2 levels from now, but I needed to do several attempts on fighting hearts, and so that reset the cutscenes riddle at that level. And I could have still gotten it without having to go out of my way to farm for it later, but then I had to take 2 tries at Laser Love. And so now we're going to have to reroute on the fly because some of the later levels have 2 different cutscenes in them, and if you skip both of them, then it counts like then you skipped a cutscene in that level twice, and so it resets the progress. And for one of them, you can just rewatch, or you can just watch one of the cutscenes because it's not all that slow. But I don't think that's gonna cut it for how far off we are at this point.
It should if you get everything else done correctly. Also, I think we maybe should. We're front-loading so much of this exposition, so we should probably take a bit of time until we explain some of the other things that are going on.
Right. Or listen to the music. That's cool
Yeah.
too.
because then otherwise we'll have nothing to say in the later stages of the game.
Maybe unlikely, but I agree. Shout out to Annapurna Interactive, by the way, the publisher, who publishes a lot of really great art games.
So we got our gold rank on that level.
Yeah, nice Dead of Night. Dead of Night is terrifying on YOLO.
Yeah. And we are going to my favorite Heartbreak by a long shot.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Okay, everyone, quick round. Favorite and least favorite stage.
Favorite individual level, probably Parallel Universes, which we're gonna get to in a bit, and least favorite individual level, Hearts and Swords, which we will get to right before that.
Yeah, for me, Parallel Universes is like the coolest level gimmick, and then Reverie, I fall asleep halfway through.
My favorite by far is
That's a
Wild
cool
Hearts
break.
Never Die. And then least favorite is Heartbreak 4.
So,
Heartbreak for someone else who hates Heartbreak 4.
so this riddle requires us to listen to the entire menu music all the way through, and then start Hearts and Swords, which is the next level. So now we have some downtime, and I am going to hydrate.
Singing incentive question mark.
I don't know if it's within the realm of human possibility to get everyone synced up to where they think they are, so that the singing sounds compelling. I think
It is
the
not.
only way, the only way that we could probably pull that off is running it at a physical GDQ, which would be cool. Maybe once physical GDQs come back, we'll see.
Yeah, it's not entirely safe right now.
Yeah. But
How
yeah,
it-
the title menu music is almost over, and so once the menu fades out and it starts to replay like the opening like narration and stuff again, we skip it, we go back in, we hit this level, it gives us credit for that riddle, and if I had been running a perfect run so far, then I would also get credit for skipping cutscenes here. But it has not been a perfect run so far, so I don't get credit for that. So that right there was a square coin that we just picked up. This is another one. And so those are like, because the small hearts have a base score of, okay, so that's a cutscene, but we're not gonna skip it because JPJ thinks that if I don't screw anything else up, I should still be able to get cutscene skips without having to go back in and farm for it after the fact. But yeah, small hearts have a base score of 1, the big hearts have a base score of 25, and the square coins have a base score of 1,000. There'll be like 2 to 5 of the square coins in any given level. So this is Parallel Universes, and it's a lot of people's favorite, because we've got the boss on the left snapping and the boss on the right snapping, and they are teleporting us to Parallel Universes, as the level name implies. And oh, we forgot to make the first we have to talk about Parallel Universes joke. Next time.
But are you building up speed, though?
It's an auto-scroller. It's impossible to build up speed.
Sides sounds like you're not doing Parallel Universes right. This level, we will see all of the levels replayed at a later time because this run requires us to go through YOLO Arcade and Album Arcade. To a certain extent, we won't do all of YOLO Arcade, but we will be doing all of Album Arcade. So during Album Arcade, you will see the hard way to play this level, basically, but we'll explain that when we get to it.
Yeah. All Riddles really shows off a lot more of the level than you really get to see in, or a lot more of the game than you really get to see in any percent or any percent no death skips. We'll call out what a death skip is once we get there. There are a lot of moving parts in this run. Not as many as there are in 100% though, because the way that, so if you finish all the levels, you unlock Album Arcade, which is just all of the levels automatically in a row. And if you get a gold on all of the levels, then you unlock YOLO Arcade, which is all of the levels back-to-back in a row, and if you die, then that's game over and you have to restart. If you finish if you finish YOLO Arcade all the way through, which is difficult on its own, you unlock a 4th rank on the levels, which is Wild Rank. And so the 100% run, you have to get a good enough score on every single level to get Wild Rank unlocked, and you have to get a Wild Rank on Album Arcade, which is difficult, and you have to get a Wild Rank on YOLO Arcade, which means going for risky strats to get higher points, and if you die anywhere, then you have to restart the entire YOLO Arcade segment of the run. So far, JPJ is the only person who has ever run 100%. I am not good enough at consistently getting Wild Rank scores to be competing for that, and a lot of because there's also, in addition to the speedrunning community for this game, there's also a pretty active, score hunting community, and they, the world record for Album Arcade scores is a bit over 2 million points, which is just absurd. But a lot of the
download in the chat.
Oh, hey, yeah. But the people who are going for ridiculously large scores, the skill set that makes you good at getting the riddles quickly in a speedrun, and the skill set of getting a whole bunch of points in...
Don't do this.
You're trying to go for golds, remember?
Right. Thank you.
Maybe you should let us do some more commentating and you focus on playing the game.
Okay, yes. That sounds like a very good idea. I will let y'all do the talking so that I can be playing the actual video game correctly.
Because we kind of haven't gone into the structure of the game itself. If people have not gotten it. So there are 5 different bosses, and each one is separated by or preceded by a level called a Heartbreak. So there's Heartbreak 1, which precedes the first boss, the Dancing Devils, and then there's Heartbreak 2, Heartbreak 3. We just finished Heartbreak 4, and so we'll meet the boss for this stage of the game at the end of this level. And so we talked a little bit about someone mentioned their favorite Heartbreak in the game, and least favorite Heartbreak, which are those sorts of levels that aren't really
the ones that look like you should be in a TARDIS.
Yeah. Essentially.
So yeah, do we want to talk about all of the tarot and zodiac imagery, or now that we've got a little time?
Sure, might as well.
So, the tarot and zodiac imagery is rather not necessarily arbitrary, but the meanings of the tarot cards don't necessarily align with what they represent in actual tarot reading.
I mean, that's debatable. I've heard
Yeah.
Someone who does do tarot reading say that this is actually fairly like there are a lot of meanings that are
That align.
Yeah, and Annapurna Interactive actually do make a tarot deck based on the major arcana cards as presented in the game. It's tough to get a hold of because I think the online store tends to be out of stock, but it exists and it's a very cool piece of merch.
Oh yeah. So throughout the game, you are going to see pretty much all of the major arcana in tarot appear. Some of them are the bosses themselves. Some of them are tools, for example, or tools or weapons that the characters use. For example, that big motorcycle you've been seeing is the Wheel of Fortune. And some of them are just characters, like the Magician, who we will be seeing a lot more of later on in the run.
And also the Fool, who is the main character.
Ooh, you died there.
Yeah.
I did die there.
I believe
That's
that's
a
the first
pity.
time you've died in the run.
All right.
I think so. And this is about to
Come
be
on.
the second time I've died in the run.
It was the last obstacle of this. Oh, you died again. It's the last obstacle of the level. Come on.
I know, how am I so bad at the level? I don't understand how this keeps happening to me.
Oh, God,
Okay.
come on.
Okay, we're struggling,
You
so
have
the
to
magician has
time it.
arrived and is offering to make our wish come true, but we don't wish to skip that part, because we actually are
Because-
going for a riddle, in case you couldn't guess.
No, is it not because we're gamers, though?
Okay, it is also because we are gamers, but it is primarily because, there we go, we have to go through the left eye of that face 4 times. And that magician was not helping us in this level, but is going to come in handy a lot down the road.
And depending on how well this level goes, we may or may not want her services. So this is
say-
the world we knew.
Even if you die on an easy level like Hearts and Swords, you're still a valid gamer if you take Queen Latifah's help.
That is perfectly fair.
Yeah, that mechanic is very good to have in general from just a game accessibility perspective, in terms of I am stuck on this section and I am no longer having fun. That problem doesn't happen in this game, because if you get stuck on a section, you can just skip it. You
Yeah.
won't get as good of a score, but
But you can keep playing the game.
yeah.
And one thing to note is that the consequence of death in this game, besides just having your progress reset a little bit, is so you can see the multipliers, the combos, that how we were saying they 1, 2, 3, 4, each heart is worth subsequently more, and it resets that if you die.
And so, yeah, since we need gold ranks on all of these levels, dying where we don't want to will cause problems, because it's in almost all of the levels, it's very difficult to still get a gold if you die halfway through the level, because then your multiplier resets And so things that would be worth like 300 or 400 points at the end of the level are worth like 150. And so your score is going up way slower. And so in this category where we need to get gold ranks on all of the levels, usually the smart thing to do if you die is to just restart the level, because technically you can keep going, but you're not going to be able to get a gold most likely. However, it is possible to get enough points for a gold like I have now, because the cutoff for a gold on this level is 70,000, and I have enough points for a gold. So what I'm going to do is faceplant into these floaty heart things that I don't actually... Yeah. And I would love to skip that bit, because playing it is slow. There are some pieces of the game where playing through them is slower than skipping them with the magician. And so, especially later on in the run, we're going to do some... we're going to take advantage of that to skip some segments that are fairly slow. And the 80% category is just doing that as often as you physically can.
Well, as often as it's fast to do.
Yeah, as often as it's fast to do, which is why 80% no death skips is a category that exists and is kind of more popular. Because 80% no death skips, you can't use those, and it's more conventionally just playing the game as intended very well. Both categories are fun.
And this is, let me interject with, this is probably the only water level that people don't hate. Just in the history of video games.
Yeah, finally, a good water level.
Alright, so I don't know if I've been miscounting, but I believe the cutscene skip riddle should be coming up for you probably in the next level.
Yeah, I believe that is...
Oh, I whiffed that coin. I will go back for it. Because I'm
Right.
actually going to have to play this level again in singles. And so
We have
I'll have
another
to
chance for it.
remember, but
I
we'll get
will...
another shot at it.
Thank God it was on that level, as opposed to literally any of the others.
Yeah. So this level, like Hearts and Swords, has another cutscene in it, but I'm not going to skip that because that would reset my cutscene skip progress, and I would prefer to not do that if I am close to having the right amount of cutscene skips. Oh! I might have I think I skipped 2 cutscenes in The World We Knew.
There...
Because one at the beginning and then one for the transition, like, towards the, like, boss fight.
Oh.
Right. Yes, you did skip it. I don't remember seeing it. So, unfortunately, you were literally one level away from.
Rip.
I'm pretty sure it should have been this level. Which is...
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to grind it after the end of singles, I reckon.
I think usually I grind that after YOLO, because I have enough cutscene skips at the end of YOLO that I only need to farm like 2 or 3.
Perfect.
Ares B, which one's Ares B?
Ares B is skip cutscene. So yeah, that was it.
Oh, I got it! Wow.
Never mind. Did not reset accidentally. No time loss.
Yeah, I didn't think there was a...
So yeah, this game is now also an archery game, This is Act 5, and they are still throwing in new mechanics. Because this game just keeps on giving.
I still find it really funny that they're literally throwing in new mechanics, like literally 3 levels before the end.
And like there are a lot of level or portion specific gimmicks, mechanics. Like in Night Drift, we had the drifting. In these, like the last 3 levels, there's the archery. I
Also,
believe. Oh,
sorry, go on.
is there more gravity swapping?
I know there's some in Clair de Lune
Clair de Lune,
Redux.
yeah.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's all.
Yeah.
There's also some drifting in Clair de Lune Redux.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the latest and greatest tech we discovered in this game, I think, is the Dama Death, which is if you die at the same time you collect something, your points restart, but your combo gets incremented after you die. So if you die after collecting a heart, the first heart you collect after dying will start at combo 2. So in a couple levels, that's really handy. Inside is where we discovered it, and Dama, World Champion Dama in the chat discovered it first on Inside, and there's a few levels, World We Knew and that Hate Skulls level that you can get a lot of extra points by dying and incrementing your combo.
Right, so that's another riddle Cactus just got, which involves spinning 1,080 degrees inside those tunnels, and just it's 3 revolutions.
Yeah, 3 revolutions in the same direction.
Yeah.
Right, so after this stage, which is going to end pretty soon, we are actually going to go back to previous stages because there is another riddle that requires us to complete the stage at a gold rank, then go back to Heartbreak 5 and complete it on silver rank, and then go back to Heartbreak 3 and complete it on bronze, in that order consecutively. And then it'll give us the riddle.
The hint text for that, I think, is from a golden sun to a silvery star. I go to a tower of bronze.
That is
And
it.
there was a card that showed up earlier in this level that I forgot to point out that was the sun. And the star shows up in the intro cutscene to Heartbreak 5 that we skipped. And the tower shows up in the intro cutscene to Heartbreak 3 that we skipped.
Oh yeah, there's a strobing light coming up when the next punch.
Thank you, Conway.
Or not the, yeah, pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. And again, like in a second, so watch out. And we will tell you when it's safe to look, because currently the screen is not very friendly.
Okay, so we get clawed at by death, we get clawed at by death, we get dabbed on by death, and we get dabbed on by death. And since we're getting dabbed on, I might as well dab back. So we can't actually pause and quit to menu for that
And
one,
that's
so now we slow
That's the
pan
end
over.
of the photosensitivity warning.
Yeah.
This is what we've been skipping, where Queen Latifah announces the name of the next level. And remember that you can't do the death skip here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also this is your chance to not whiff the coin.
Yeah. So I have to, since we need to get specifically a silver rank in this level, we need to wind up with between 15,000 and 30,000 points. And Normally, my strat for that is to take a death skip that's coming up. But instead of doing that, I'm going to have to get creative. Because usually I would just like chill in the bottom right corner and just face neck plant into that wall and die. But now, like, I have to juggle. Like, I need to get a score that's high enough to not be bronze, but low enough to not be gold. I got the coin.
Okay, that's good. I think you should be fine.
Yeah, because 14, 6. Because the cutoff for... Yeah, because the range is 15,000 to 30,000, and so that's a silver rank, which we got just fine.
There you go.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And now, as we said, we are going back to Heartbreak 3, which is the tower, in order to, as soon as we finish this, we'll get Sagittarius A, but we have to do it at bronze rank, which is below 5,000, but above 250. 250 to 2,500. I can speak, I swear.
Yeah, so we're going to take a death skip here, because there's a segment that's slow.
Would you like to skip this bit?
So we're going to pick up some of these hearts and take this boost and vibe. And now we are at 25, and so we're going to avoid points as hard as we can.
Which, as you will see once we get started with particularly Album Arcade, is not that easy in this game.
So that's our bronze rank, and so now we go over and we play the last level, which is Wild Hearts Never Die.
So while this doesn't have as harsh of a photosensitivity warning as all of the other levels, it is still as like the two other levels where we've mentioned it, it's still pretty tough, so exercise caution.
Yeah, even if like the normal level where this game is at is like fine, like Forest Dub, the level that I called out towards the beginning, like that level gives me a headache sometimes. So yeah, this game kind of fluctuates a little bit in how blinky the lights are. And so the Eye of Death is going to shoot some stuff at us.
Smurf actually plays this game on a brighter color enhanced mode by using shaders. It's crazy to look at.
I am going to have to look into that then. Also, to answer Royal Blue Wizard on chat, while there is, as far as I know, not necessarily an all wild rank category, 100% is a category that does require all wild ranks. So yeah.
There's been some discussion of starting up a wild percent category where you play each of the individual levels and get a wild rank, but you don't have to do that for like the level sequences or get the riddles. We haven't gone in and set that up yet, but it's been considered.
Can we put blindfold percent on the board?
Oh yes, please. Just 2 runners. So you may not know this, dear viewers, but Calame here on the couch started off playing this game blindfolded about like a year ago. It was very early, and it is a sight. And now we get to hear the best song in the game, Don't At Me. You can't see me, but I'm dancing.
I just love these little smooches so much.
Oh yeah.
Fellas,
Yes. Yes, it is.
And so now instead of punching the bosses, we are kissing the bosses.
and the bosses are also just ourselves.
Yeah, this part is very Celeste 6A
Ow.
energy.
Rip.
Hopefully, I should still be able to get enough points.
Oh, yeah, is that
This
still
level
gold?
in particular has a lot of points available.
Yeah, especially because you're not skipping the last part.
So, we have kissed the girl and she turns into a dragon.
Let's let Queen Latifah
Then the
talk now.
voices of the three divine arcana echoed from the beyond. And through the wind, their words soared. From the shards to your broken heart, the real carrier has risen. You have restored the lost harmony of the world. Now you must go and find harmony in your home. Sayonara Wild Hearts.
And now
Right,
make sure
so-
you do get the coin on this this part.
Yeah. So, the finale of this game, we kiss a girl, she turns into a dragon, we kiss her again, and also she was a manifestation of our own, inner turmoil. And any game that doesn't end like that was made by cowards for cowards. Do not at me.
All right, you are. Even if you don't get any more points now, you're in the safe range.
Yeah.
All right, and that's the end of the game. Thank you guys. No, I'm aiming.
Gold
It
ring.
is technically the end of the game.
With the estimate by 1 hour.
However, it is not the end of this run.
YOLO Arcade unlocked.
So we unlocked Album Arcade, and we unlocked YOLO Arcade. And we got a riddle for get all of the square coins, and a riddle for get all of the square coins in that last level. So we're also going to do some time travel. 3. Because there's a riddle that's from this very from what's the text again?
From this point, I go 10 years back in time. Paraphrased.
Yeah, and so it's telling you to move the Zodiac Riddles menu 10 cycles counterclockwise.
Just from here, I traveled 10 years back in time. Libra
Just from
B.
here. Thank you. And I almost quit the game there, but I didn't do that this time. In practice the other day, instead of going up from the Zodiac Riddles menu to the extras menu where YOLO Arcade is, I went down to quit game, and then had to, relaunch the game and lost a bunch of time. But I didn't do that this time. Suboptimal menuing can lose you a lot of time. But only in that specific way at that exact point.
And yeah. Also, I want to prime everyone here. When we get to the final part that we play in YOLO Arcade, just say don't do tree coin over and over until until we have confirmed that Cactus has not done tree coin.
I have it here on my notes.
Coward. Just playing.
Listen, we were doing practice yesterday, and Z planted right into the tree coin.
I'm gonna believe that. Yeah, tree coin is risky business for YOLO.
So the problem with that is that there's very few places that can really, really lose you time in this run. If you face plant into tree coin during YOLO Arcade, that is literally the biggest time loss.
Yeah,
the
that's
biggest
like
single mistake time loss.
7 minutes, which yeah, the it's devastating. Sorry.
Yeah, tree coin, there's a coin that's right next to a tree in Forest Ghost, and it's right between two trees. And the positioning of it, it's on the edge of the screen, so, you have to, it's tough to tell visually, where you need to be to line up with it. And it loves to kill you. And so tree coin has its own fan art. Can I get a boring 15 tree coin in the chat? Shout out to Murph for drawing that emote. Because it's... Tree coin is legendary for better and for worse. But I went for tree coin and died and lost 8 minutes in practice, so I got it out of my system and I won't be doing it in the actual run.
The notable thing about tree coin is that not only it isn't even particularly hard to get, it's only hard to get when you especially don't want to die. Like when you're doing a run and it would lose you 7 minutes.
Or literally when you're doing YOLO, just any time
Yeah.
you're doing YOLO.
So yeah, there are two riddles that we're going for here in YOLO Arcade. One of them is to get 10 riskies, and we aren't going to go out of our way to chase that, because just playing these levels normally will get us that many. And the other one is to get a bronze rank or better. And the cutoff for a bronze rank in YOLO Arcade mode is 250,000 points.
By the way, remember that you don't have to do all goods here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we were saying, if you make it to the end of YOLO Arcade, then you get access to wild ranks, which we will not be doing, but that is sort of the distinguishing feature that from between wilds, or not wild, Zodiac percent and 100%. Because you have to do the secret wild rank for all the levels in singles, and then not only make it to the end of this but get 1.5 million points in YOLO Arcade, and then also get 1.5 million in Album Arcade.
Yeah. That's why I don't run 100%. Although maybe one of these days JPJ will finally talk me into it.
That'd be really cool to see. But yeah, 100% is pretty tricky.
And it's the issue is that if I would definitely not want to run it at a marathon or something, because if you die in Hermit Redux, that is unrecoverable 40-minute time loss, and so either you don't finish the run, or like you have to add like another hour in for your estimate for the case where
Yeah, that category is not marathon safe in any way, shape, or form.
I'm looking at 2 million YOLO, and it's a yikes concept.
I was
Oh,
going
boy.
to ask, has that been done yet?
I think 1.98 is the record. Is Dama the holder for that one, or is it Potable?
I can,
Probably.
I can check.
Oh yeah, I have it pulled up.
So yeah, there's the 10 riskies.
And are we thinking we're going?
1.99.
Oh, are we thinking we're going to watch cutscenes when we go into
Now,
album?
I think I spent enough time screwing up Fighting Hearts and Laser Love that it would probably put us. It might put us. That plus like a couple other things catching on fire would put us overestimate, and I don't really want to go overestimate since there's another run coming up after this one.
Yeah, that's fair enough, I guess.
But yeah, watching the cutscenes makes the run it lets you catch up on all the deep lore, or at least some of the lore. Some of the lore you need Calimated data mine.
Oh, yeah. Like the name of the main character, for example. That's deep lore.
That's deep
Yes.
lore lie.
Yes, the because within the code, the name of the character, the main character, is Lorelei. But like, except for most of the game, it's not. It's just the Fool. Which is like from the end of the first level to, I think, beating the Eye of Death. Is that when?
I think
Is
so.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you stop being the fool, and then you start chasing down the fool, so you can kiss the fool.
Oh god, I think those little sound bites at the knockout from Queen Latifah, probably my favorite Queen Latifah like contributions to this game. Not the narration, not the gold rank or anything, just the ooh, you cracked her face.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, perfect. Bullseye. All of those.
Yes.
Oh god.
It's like the biggest yeah in the whole game.
Okay, so our cutoff that we need to hit is 250.
We're
at
looking good.
42.
All right, children, what do we say? Don't go for
do
tree coin.
We are not going for tree coin. Tree coin will kill me, and I will lose like 10 minutes, and it will make me sad.
Don't do tree coin. Don't do tree coin. Don't do tree coin. Don't
Yeah,
do
that's
tree
Solid
coin.
plan.
Don't do tree
Don't
coin.
do tree coin.
I'm not doing tree coin.
Don't do tree coin.
tree
I did not do
coin.
tree coin.
Don't do tree
Okay,
coin.
Okay.
good.
Okay, wave goodbye to tree coin as it passes by.
Miss you, tree coin.
We had some mysterious ticking noise going on there for a moment.
Since I only play score categories, I like die if I ever change up my route and try not to go for tree coin or something. So used to the very choreographed movements.
When taking the... Oh, you're at 25, by the way.
Yeah. There's there's a whole interval in there where we can't die. Like, there's a bunch of QTEs, but if you miss them, it just, like, slows down and waits for you. But since we hit 250, we can faceplant into a tree as soon as that section's over. And we have 257,000, which is good for bronze. And we are done with the YOLO arcade, and now we play Album Arcade. And we have to play this entire mode, because one of the riddles is to get half of these square coins in this mode. Bittersweet Starway, yeah, bottom left, that's where it is. So yeah, we're gonna be playing all of the levels again in this mode. A lot of them we won't necessarily have anything in particular to say about. Some of them we have to run weird strats because of riddles. Because we are not done doing interesting riddle strats.
And some of them we just skip almost entirely through death skips. One of them we skip almost entirely through death skips.
Yeah, you are going to be seeing a lot more death skips in this section of the run, because
Assuming
now we
that I
don't
remember to do them.
Yes, so because now we don't have to go for golds, and we're not in YOLO, which would straight up murder us if we went to death skips.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, do you guys want to talk about like the process of routing this game?
Sure. So, initially, I went through all of the riddles, and I was like, okay, where should we put this one? Where should we put this one? And I had an initial draft of okay, so we have to play all of the levels as singles because we're starting from a fresh file, and we have to play YOLO Arcade a little bit. We have to play all of Album Arcade. My original route ended with the time travel riddle, but then Calumet was like, hey, what if you did that not at the very end, so that the end of the run can be the end of Album Arcade, and that way it's way more satisfying. And that was a very good recommendation, because ending on the time, that's probably the most anticlimactic riddle, is the menuing riddle, and so ending on that would be not as cathartic.
Yeah,
And
pathing
so-
this run out was a lot of fun, and JPJ had a lot of really great insights too.
Yeah. At one point, JPJ just went through the entire game and was like, okay, can you death skip starting here? No, it's slower. Can you death skip starting here? No, you can't die. Can you death skip starting here? No, it's slower. Can you death skip starting here? Yes.
I think the only death skip that I actually found in that phase was one that it doesn't even show up in this run. I did find another one which does show up in the end of the run, but that was not during that time. That was when I was messing around, trying to get low scores without dying, because I did not realize that you could in fact die at this part of the game. Do the death skip here.
I would love to skip that bit.
Skip this bit.
So yeah, the one... That skip that JPJ found mostly by accident is called JPJ skip, and we will point that out when it happens.
Right.
And
so
since I already got the riddle on this one, I can just vibe.
So, something interesting regarding the magician in general and the ability to skip this section at all. Simogo have repeatedly said in various interviews that they aim to make games that everybody will be able to play, which is the main reason why this game has such a simplistic and such a small set of inputs, like 100% of the time, like you're using at most 5 buttons. You have, most of the time you're only moving left and right. Sometimes you do the rhythm prompts, and there are like two parts of the game, well, 4, where you also have to do up and down, and that's it. Because, and that along with the skips, with the would you like to skip this bit if you die a little too much, they have pointed out to being as like, we are actively trying to make this accessible so that even somebody who has never played a video game in their entire life can just pick it up and play, which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very, very admirable thing to do, especially because it doesn't. It's like those accessibility features that don't like interfere with gameplay at all. And actually, we don't do it for this run, obviously. But there's also an option where it's like you can say, I do not want to see this prompt when the magician shows up. So like if you are just having a tough time but want to keep going, you can like avoid having that prompt. Yeah, but also if you do need a helping hand with the game, then it will offer it to you, and that's a very good thing, I think.
Yeah. And the simplicity of the controls is also why the game is available on so many platforms, because you can get the game on PC, which is where I'm playing it, or PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and on iOS through Apple Arcade. There are not a lot of games that you can just play like the same version on desktop and on mobile and on console, but this game is designed so that it can be done that way. And I haven't played the mobile version because I don't have an iPhone, but I know that at least for a while, some of the world record high scores were actually on the mobile version, because there are some places where you can move around faster with touch controls than you can with keyboard or with controller.
Which is something you are never going to hear said again for any other game. It's faster on mobile. But
It
yeah,
takes
it was
a very special game to be like, to allow that sort of scenario to exist.
Yeah, and it is. It actually was the best Apple Arcade game of last year. It was given that award at the end of last year, which was,
Yeah.
kind of wild.
Yeah, I think it won a BAFTA for something. I forget if it was art style or soundtrack or something. It could have won all of them. It is a profoundly good video game.
And it really opens itself up nicely to a variety of play styles. Like there's like the speedrunning community, and there's the score hunting community, but there's also just, playing it casually and enjoying the story and or the visuals, the sound. I was doing a lot of score hunting a while ago. I stopped, and I occasionally look back at what the high scores are now, and it's like, oh my god, 98,000 on Laser Love, and I have no clue how that happens.
Yeah, Dama has discovered a lot of ways to push scores up. It's been crazy.
Yeah, as somebody who mostly just does the speedrunning and isn't super plugged into the score hunting community, it is genuinely nuts to see, the level to which some of these people have broken the game open. The way that near misses work is, if you're next to something that could kill you, then you get a risky. And if you're still next to it a bit later, you get a risky again. But it measures that time based on real time, not game time. So you can actually pause buffer riskies. If you pause while you're next to something that could kill you, then you can get an extra risky out of it. And this run is nowhere near the level of needing to use that, thankfully. But some of the high scores, I think, use that strat for extra points. And it's like, there are so many ways to break this game open and just, like, pull some just, like, truly mind-blowing stuff. And it's genuinely a little inspiring.
I think the only place where I can think of in this run that would like come up is like if you manage to get like managing to get a very high score in YOLO Arcade. So like, well, once you get to this level, where in YOLO Arcade you would have 250,000 points, and so you can like smash into a tree here rather than.
We're not going for tree coin this time either. Also,
Yeah,
We are not. Well, what we are going for, though, is another riddle, Capricorn A, where Z has to get all perfects on these rhythm prompts for the entirety of the level. And yeah, that's it. As soon as that was an okay.
Yeah, I got an okay, and once you get an okay, like, you just gotta restart, because like the riddle that's get all goods in Fighting Hearts, you can do that anywhere because
it doesn't lose time, and because
unless you forget to get a gold, you can get that riddle while getting a gold in singles. I didn't, but you can. But this one, there's a coin that you have to skip one of the QTEs to pick up.
which is a bit trolly, to say the least. And you are going to see it right now. There we go.
Yeah, and and we can't get it in YOLO because we would have already died by now, and there's another one there that I just got. And so we can only get it here in Album Arcade. And so if we miss it the first time, we just have to restart the level and try again, because there are no second shots. Also, RIP monitor users again. This is the level that gives me a headache.
Yeah, translated, for those who don't know the joke, this is a photosensitivity warning. If you have photosensitivity, this is going to be the level that you want to look away from the screen during. We'll give you another warning when it finishes, but pretty much when you hear this song finish, it's safe to look back.
So Forest Up is a really weird level to play because the visuals are actually lagged. Every beat of the music, the visuals speed up and slow down. So kind of it feels like your controls are slow when actually your controls are perfect. It's just what you're seeing is wrong.
And it's safe to look back now.
Because you're on drugs, apparently.
Yeah, you're on conceptual, just abstract drugs.
Yeah, you are picking up mushrooms to get larger, so it's basically Mario.
I don't remember any Mario level that's like that.
Mario Maker has the thing.
We did have parallel universes earlier, so I guess
you're not wrong.
That does fit.
And you get the same screen distortion in Mario Maker. There's a audio visual distortion that you can throw into a level. It looks a lot like that.
I really love the little references to other games that this game has in there. One of the easier to miss ones is every time you hit one of the heart boxes that are in this level, and in the next level, and then they make a comeback in transonic gravity. The sound that comes out of them when you break them is the same as in Mario Kart, for example.
Oh, that's nifty. I did.
Clever. I didn't notice that.
Did you not? Oh, great. I know more than the runners. Hello.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I deserve to be on this couch. I have just now earned my position here.
You do. You are providing good insight. Yeah. Also, those heart boxes, they provide, I think, like, first of all, they provide like 100 points flat out. Plus, they give you normally 5, but in this level, 9 hearts.
Yeah, and there's a death skip in this level that I tend to forget about, but I'm going to not forget about it this time. Because I have an audience now instead of like 3 people watching on Twitch.
I generally, like, forget about it, but also, even if I didn't, I would skip it because I'd probably do it at the wrong time and lose like 10 seconds.
Also, circling back to that BAFTA we mentioned earlier, I did some quick research. The BAFTA was for artistic achievement, and Sayonara Wild Hearts was the winner. It was also nominated for another one, which it didn't win. But for artistic achievement, it was up against games like Control and Death Stranding and Disco Elysium, which are
Would you like to skip this bit?
kind of amazing as well.
Z
And
did
it was
it.
also nominated to Best Animation.
Yeah,
I forgot about that
this-
death skip. That's huge.
Yeah, this game just keeps on giving. And, like, we haven't even gotten into, like, the actual story of the game, because we've been too busy skipping cutscenes and explaining tech.
But yeah, there is indeed a deep story to this game, and when I got obsessed with this game last year, I kept saying, like, if I get enough energy, I might be doing a full write-up on the symbolism of this game and like relating it back to the 5 stages of grief and things like that. I did not get enough energy for that, so you all will have to bully me into doing so if you're interested in it. But it's really interesting. There are many interpretations floating around the internet.
Yeah. I forgot to go for that death skip. Oh well. But yeah, like, textually, like, the protagonist Lorelei has been, like, going through some, like, heartbreak and tragedy and grief and whatever for, like, years. Spiraling through sadness and anger. Until one day she could not fall any further and fell right back into her groove, is how the closing narration goes.
Maybe maybe we will watch it depending on.
Yeah, depending on time, because there's still a lot of other things that I could screw up.
Yeah, it is looking good, but also I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, please don't jinx it. Oh, right.
You have to die here.
Yeah, so there's a riddle in this level that's thrice a magician made my wish come true, where 1 became 2. Because at the end of this level, there's the one boss turns into 2 bosses. And so, as a shout-out of sorts to one of my favorite GDQ runs of all time, which was Wall of Spain's Skyrim run, at some point several years back. During a point where there's downtime, I always take a selfie. Just as a way to commemorate like the sorts of runs that got me into speedrunning in the first place.
Would you like to skip this bit?
It's a nice little thing.
And there you go. You have to do the 3 death skips in order to get there, because it's 3 wishes that the
You can-
magician is granting.
You can also do it with the sword fight. Fun fact, but it's slower. So
Yeah, these
So,
sword
okay,
fights
this riddle.
are... Oh, go ahead.
Somebody explain? I'm focusing.
so the
Right,
riddle
so-
text is
Small blood pumps are cursed among snaps and claps,
mhm.
which means avoid all small hearts, which is very complicated in this stage.
It's actually a lot of it's probably one of the most fun riddles to get. But you can get other sources of points. So you can get big hearts and riskies and such. Otherwise, I think it would actually be impossible.
That square coin that Cactus just got was literally the last square coin that I got in the game, because I could not for the life of me figure out where it was. And I just got tunnel vision every time. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wound up on the wrong side of the level there, and I just couldn't figure out a way to get back. Usually I don't have that much trouble with this one, but this has not necessarily been a usual run so far, so why start being usual now, I guess.
Cursed blood bombs took me a lot of time to get used to when I was first going for it.
Yeah, it took me a long time to, like, parse, because it's so weirdly phrased. Like, small blood pumps, like,
Yeah,
once
same.
you Google it, you go, oh, that just means small hearts. Like, yeah, a heart is a thing that pumps blood. I guess that makes sense. But, like, in the moment, you're staring at it going, this makes no sense. Shouldn't one of the McElroys be reading this off with a funny voice? This is, as far as riddles go, this is not up there. But once you know what it means, you understand why it means what it means.
Oh man.
And I think we should be good. Hey, we're good.
Nice. And there's the riddle.
Chat was just pretty helpful, and shout out to the whole Sayonara community for just being one of the most positive corners of the internet.
Yeah, like the score chasing and speedrunning communities in this game are just like super chill and inclusive and like welcoming and low key and just like
Do this death skip.
right. There's a death skip.
Well,
It's probably not still faster at this point because I already forgot to do
no. Once you miss the first one, you should just keep going.
it. Yeah.
But
Would you like to skip this bit?
I can talk or I can pay attention to the video game, but apparently can't do both.
and then this death skip as well. Yeah, the Sayonara Wild Hearts community as a whole is just really wonderful in a way that like few other
Skip this bit.
communities are.
I forgot to die there too. This time I'm not gonna like try and go for it after the fact.
There's like a long history of aggressive score hunters who like do really well, but are also super pleased when they see other people getting better and eventually surpassing them.
Yeah, I honestly like I I used to be. I used to do a lot of score hunting for this game. Is anyone else getting feedback?
No.
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 Yeah, I used to do a lot of score hunting for this game, but like the runs are now just so complex and like there's so little room for error now that like I sort of gave up because I was already spending time that I should have been using for other things.
Remember to spam warp here.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
I mean, that's it. Just like it was taking up so much of my free time. But like it was like the people there are just the people here are so helpful and wow, that was early.
Yeah, because the riddle there is to teleport 40 times, and with practice you can get really good at spamming. Also, coming up is one of the riddles that's the most frustrating if you don't have a good route for it in mind. But if you have a good route for it, then it's pretty straightforward. The hint text is like a worthless chariot I drift in the night, and the tarot card that represents the car is the chariot, and this level is night drift, and worthless, no points. So we have to get 0 points at all in this level. No small hearts, no big hearts, no square coins, no drifting, no near misses. And we actually can't take a death skip here because
death skips give you 50 points, which
you get
on
credit
this level
for
in particular.
Yeah.
Oh, you get credit for the risky for almost crashing into the rock if you then hit the rock altogether, and then it you get you keep those points if you do a death skip. And so,
are you saying it's risky to die?
I mean, you could argue that driving directly into a rock is a risky move. It is risky behavior. But yeah, we got the riddle. Didn't have to go out of our way to repeat anything for it.
But notably, you can smash into a rock.
Yeah, you can die as long as you don't take a death skip, and as long as you die in a place where you respawn somewhere that won't give you points regardless of whether you wanted them or not.
Oh yeah, that's very important because there are places in this. Basically, the checkpoints remember how far left or right you were on the screen when you went through that checkpoint, so you can get to a point where you go into the first rock you see because you accidentally got a heart or something, and then the checkpoint puts you at a place where it is physically impossible to change your route such that you don't get any points. So at that point you just have to restart the entire level.
Do this death skip.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but notably you can you can smash into a rock and die, and as long as you don't take the death skip, you can still get that riddle. So it's helpful for the last part where if you get a risky or pick up a small heart or something, you can just hold right, and it'll you'll smash into a rock at the very end, and it'll set you back at the last checkpoint rather than you having to restart the level.
All right, so there is another riddle coming up.
I forgot to. So yeah, this level is extremely slow, and basically every time we can, it is faster to death skip than not.
Right. So there is also one riddle that we're going for in this level, which is I'm not going to to remember the actual text of the riddle right now, but there are some spaceships, basically some Space Invader shoot 'em up type spaceships that shoot 2 bullets at once. You have to pass through 4 of those, like in between the 2 bullets, and then move out of the way. That's we found out, or at least as far as I can tell, you have to actually survive in order to get the riddle. So Z's doing it right now, and just as Z moves out of the way, there it is.
Nice.
It is technically faster to go for that in singles, but it saves like 1 second if you death skip that part here, and if you go for it in singles and
Screw it up. It's
then
like
you
a
lose-
minute and a half.
Yeah.
Because this level is also not as long as Begin Again, but still pretty long.
This is also by far the hardest blindfold level just because of this part right here.
Yeah, because since those little
Which we're gonna skip.
flying things shoot spikes, have you
I'm
done
pretty-
have you tried YOLO blindfolded yet, Calumet?
I've done some no death levels, like individual. Begin again would be an interesting achievement to go for, but I haven't done that yet. There are some levels I've never gotten through single try, and World We Knew is definitely one of them.
I remember, for a brief period of time, I did play this game on a DDR dance mat.
You beat me to it. Heck.
Oh yeah, I've done Guitar Hero controller. That was really fun.
Oof.
Okay.
Mashed like 90 on the final devil.
Oh wow. Yeah, shout out. I'm not sure if she's in the chat. I don't actually have it pulled up, but to Memento Mori for that for the DDR dance mat idea.
So we're gonna take that death skip. And then this is the death skip that we couldn't take earlier because we needed to go for that coin. But we can take it now. And so we fall neck first into this wall. And unsurprisingly, it doesn't go well.
So we do it again. We'll see if we get a better outcome.
Nope.
There's a better outcome. Okay, have the score hunters figured out how the riskies work in Heartbreak 5 yet?
Dama, do you have an answer to that? Because I don't.
Yeah, the way that, like... Because those walls, you can get riskies off of them, but it's super weird, and as far as I know, we don't have, like, a consistent understanding of, like, why any of that works. Also, I'm going for the last riddle that I have to specifically go for in the run, which is to slide 25 times in this level. We can, in theory, get it in singles, but it is non-trivial to get it while also getting a gold rank. It's possible, especially if you're, like, good at it, but it's non-trivial, and I tend not to go for it because I like to have a comfortable safety net. I mentioned way back towards the start of the run, the cube root was one of the 2 bugs that we can actually exploit in the run. The other one is that if you die in this level while you're going for this riddle, it doesn't reset your slide progress. So, like, if I had 20 slides already, then I can die there and I still have 20, and then I can go for another slide and I have 21. And so I just got that riddle.
That's a neat trick. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it comes in handy if you don't quite have enough and you're like, wait, okay, we're getting to the end of the level. I don't want to have to restart from the beginning. Let me just die right here, and I'll still keep credit for the old ones.
You don't want to have to begin again.
So, when I first started playing this game, the first time I died at all was in Begin Again, and it set me back a few seconds. It was the first time I had encountered it. I thought that was the level gimmick because of the title. And then I died later, and I was like, wait, oh, okay, no, that makes sense, I guess.
Notably, the somewhat tangentially, the like death skip zones for Begin Again are like ridiculously small. So it's like, so there's like no death skip where it's no death skip where it's like actually saves time. Just because of like how little space you skip ahead.
All right. I'm actually pretty pleased with ourselves because we were actually worrying that since we pretty much have to do the whole game twice, we were worrying that we were going to run out of commentary halfway through. We did yesterday and then started talking about nothing, but we're managing to hold it together. I'm proud of ourselves.
Notably because, like, last night our audience was pretty much entirely, like...
People who knew.
Yeah, people who knew about this game. So we actually had to give an explanation of, like, the mechanics and the riddles for this run, rather than just being like, yeah, you know what this is.
Yes.
You know how all this works. You've watched this before.
Have we talked about low percent?
Ooh, I would like to hear about low percent.
Yeah, so there's a low score leaderboard. Cactus has actually got all of people's scores on a leaderboard that he hosts, and there's a low category and of course a high category. And one runner, I'm blanking on the name. One runner actually managed to complete YOLO without dying, without getting a rank, by getting scores low enough.
I believe
Wow.
that was What the Fox.
Yes, that was What the Fox. Yeah.
That I was there. It was insane. It's especially because like you end the game getting 100,000 points. So like really, you have to make it through the whole game without dying, and only getting 150,000 points.
And it's 150. Oh yeah, it's 150. It's not the same as album.
Well, no, it is. It is the same
Okay,
as
it's
album.
250. Oh yeah, 150 plus the Unbreak Heart score, right?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Right. Album is 500k and YOLO is 250. That's right.
I believe I did manage to talk Cactus into letting my technically not deathless Heartbreak 5 count as deathless, because like I was dying on the sort of shoot, but like the whole
But you hadn't collected anything before it?
yeah, and it's like, I mean, it's not difficult. So it's literally just like
We got dabbed on to death.
heck.
The downsides of dabbing back.
Yeah, so
At
it's
least you
literally
did
just
the
like a
meme.
minute of pressing one of the directional keys.
There was a
Yeah, I
brief
like this.
moment where I considered switching to playing on controller just so I could dab safely. I didn't do that, because
That
that would be a little much even for me.
That would probably be more trouble than it's worth, honestly.
Yeah, because like a lot of the levels are just basically just down to muscle memory for me at this point, with how much time I've put into this game and this run. Oh yeah, also the Eye of Death is orb.
Orb.
So we gotta get our stale GDQ memes out of the way.
I'm all about them stale GDQ memes.
Oh my god. I think that GDQ meme reached its apex during this one. It was a Super Mario Odyssey run that where Spike Vegeta was on the couch. Can't remember who the runner was. And they started like that was when the meme was at its highest peak of popularity. So they were going moon every time you got a run. Yes,
Nice.
exactly, it was. So halfway through, they started getting bored of doing that, so they stopped. And then some person had the 3000 IQ play of clapping on the jingle that you get when you get a moon at like on the last note. I have a clip of Spike Vegeta suddenly realizing that something's going on, and it takes him about a minute of going like, oh, okay, I get what's going on now. And by the end of the run, like the entire auditorium was clapping on the jingle, and it was so satisfying.
The evolution of Super Mario World orb memes.
Yes.
I think the chorus of Begin Again would be like super hype if we could get people singing at a live event.
We
Oh,
had
God.
a bit. We had a bit we were like thinking about doing, where we would like sing along, quote unquote, sing to Doki Doki Rush, but like because it would be out of tune, or out of
Sync,
out of sync.
tempo.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
probably
because
also out of tune, because
yeah,
I like to sing along to Hearts and Swords. Well, that's best song.
No, this is the best song.
we could watch the cutscenes now because we are definitely
Underestimate, yeah.
yeah.
yeah. So I think I will go ahead and let the closing narration play out, and maybe the credits.
I think overall it takes like 8 minutes, which like, and we're already like a few minutes through it, so we'll definitely be done by.
Yeah, I remember early on in the development of this category, like, we weren't sure that 2 hours was humanly possible. Because, like, we didn't have, like, because quitting to menu between levels actually saves a total of, like, I want to say, like, 15, 20 seconds or something. And Cube Root saves, like, 10 minutes or something. And
Like 8.
yeah. And so, like, there are a lot of skips that we have now that we didn't before. But even before we found all those skips, Whalmer Noir, who at one point held, like, all of the world records in, like, on PC, just for every category, was, like, just, like, came in and did a 159.
I believe his record now is 157, and like that's last place because he hasn't like done anything since then. But like at the time, it's like I remember looking at that and I'm like, oh god, this is gonna have to be like almost perfect.
Yeah, that 2 hours was the holy grail for us for a while.
And now it's like I did not even remember my own record, but apparently it's below. I thought it was 145 something, but it's like 144.40.
Yeah.
That's the same as 2 million. We thought nobody could get 2 million, and then a lot of score improvements mean today there's like 3 albums of 2 million and 4 sum of bests of 2 million, and people have been going crazy.
You,
Right, so we're coming up on the end of the run. This is the only possible death skip on this part of the stage.
this is JPJ Skip. JPJ found it, and so it's JPJ Skip. He told me about it when I was doing a run and was like, hey, you should go for a death skip here. And I was like, is that really going to work? But then it skips the entire last section of the game. And
When is time coming up, by the way?
at
Probably
the end
say
of the credits.
Cool.
So we're going to...
Not long ago,
Just
in
let
a
this
town
play.
Much like yours, there was a young woman.
Yeah, that saves 8 seconds, which is like
Out of love.
ridiculous.
Away.
That is a pretty...
Here she fell
For those of you who are just watching, that is a pretty significant time skip for a death skip. Time save for a death skip in this game.
into her grave.
So yeah, like, textually, it's a game about, like, dealing with, like, a lot of, like, emotional turmoil and stuff, and, like, spending years just, like, not, like, having a great time, and then after, like hitting your absolute limit, and then, like, being, like, and then taking steps to, like, get things back to a point where, like, you're chilling and right back into her groove.
Sorry to interrupt. They have like stopped the timer. It isn't technically over yet.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, like, that part in particular, like, I have spent the past, like, 7 or something years dealing with depression, and at the start of this year, I finally started taking antidepressants, and so, like, I was starting to, like, I had hit my limit and was starting to, like, work on and address the issues that I had just been, like, letting wash over me for years. And then my friend Pandora's Fox gifted me this game on Steam, and it's about the exact things that I was doing in my own life. And so this game found me at the exact place where I needed it, and that's a lot of why it means so much to me, and I think it means as much to a lot of the other people in the community. Time's coming up, by the way. Once it tells us our score, it's going to give us credit for that last riddle, and we will be officially done with the run, and... Time.
There
and
we
just
go.
check that it's a real run. Yep, we have crowns on all of these, which means that we did, in fact, get all of the riddles. So that's it. That has been Sayonara Wild Hearts, all riddles. I have been Boring Cactus. Couch has been Couch. And think that's all we've got. Shout out to GDQ for letting us come on and show off the run. And yeah.
Does anyone else have any shout-outs?
Shout out to the Input Output for helping a lot of this run become, like, good. Especially Night Drift Zero would not have been possible without their help, to the extent that it is. And
Maybe the Discord.
yeah, shout out to if you the speedrun.com page for the game has a link to the speedrun Discord, and in there's a link to the score chasing Discord. So if you are interested in going for good times or high scores, those resources exist, and we would love to have more people in, explain everybody, like, all the pieces of the game. I think that's it.
Oh, thank you so much. You kind of did the part I was going to ask you about, because I normally ask the runner like how people get into it. But if you say the Discord's the spot, then I guess I can just link that real quick. There's the link, chat. And if you're watching this on the YouTube VOD, it's also linked on the speedrun.com page for Sayonara Wild Hearts. So, well, thank you so much, Cactus. Thank you, Ash, Calamay, and JPJ. This was a fantastic run, and I'm so glad I could have you on the show.
Thanks to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next up, we are going to switch to another Rhythm-esque game with no straight roads. We're going to be getting a run by Moist Rock, so bear with us for just a few minutes while we get all that set up. And welcome back to Runners Wanted. I am still ZoeVermilion, but now I am joined by Moist Rock here for a No Straight Roads NMG run. How are you doing, Moist Rock?
Doing pretty well. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic. This was a run that I had the pleasure of hosting for West Coast Weekend. And I loved it so much that I wanted it on my show. So here we are.
All right.
If you want to do your own thing and just let us know when to start the timer, the floor is yours.
All right. Yeah. So as ZoeVermilion just mentioned, we did run this game around 3 weeks back. We had a pretty decent time. Unfortunately, I am still the only runner in the Christmas Patch for the NMG category, but maybe in the future I'll change. Hint. Also, I won't go too much into explaining some of the stuff since that happened earlier, but I will say that on the Epic Games Store, No Straight Roads is actually 30% off, so it's around $27 actually. And also, the Epic Games Store did supply everyone with a $10 coupon, so if you ever wanted to cop out this game, you only have to pay $17 for it. So, yeah, that's a steal right there if you want a good action rhythm-based game. And with that being said, we're going to select the new file, and then timer's going to start as soon as I select the number of players chosen. So, timer starts in 3, 2, 1, now. And so, let's see, some stuff that's new. So, the run that we had beforehand, it was okay. We had a few mistakes here and there. And then also, I did mention that some of the patch changes in the 1.4, it made some bosses like Sayu, made some of the approaches like 1010 really difficult, while it made some bosses such as Eve a lot simpler. But there are also some new optimizations that some of the runners, such as me, Zuka from Japan, who also just took my 100% world record, so that sucks. So I have to play another 2-hour plus run, but that is okay. So we're gonna do some changes with the DJ Subatomic fight. And beforehand, or in the last run, I did say we don't want to use stickers since the amount that you get from the early level ones, such as level 1 and 2, only provide around maybe like a 2% to 3% damage increase. But turns out the 3% damage increase to the bullet notes is actually going to be very useful for this run. I have tried a few NMG runs in the past after West Coast Weekend. None have been successful to beat the world record I placed there, but hopefully I can do it with this run right now. And just standard tutorial. Really not much to it. I guess just also say, since if anyone who hasn't watched the run before or who hasn't seen No Straight Roads at all, they don't actually understand the premise of the game. We are 2 rockers that are are auditioning for NSR, which is No Straight Roads. They are an EDM company, or empire, I should say. And so, spoiler alert, we're going to get rejected anyway, and then we're going to do the whole uprising, and then we're going to beat down every single EDM boss, and then we're going to try and take the top spot. And so right now, we're stuck as Mayday in the tutorial. She is the heavy hitter. Her attacks are a lot slower than Zook's. Right here, I'm going to try and demonstrate something about her attack properties. Okay, so you saw there that she has a 3-hit combo. 1, 2, 3. But we can actually negate this 3rd attack. So for some bosses or some enemies per se, you can actually ignore doing this third attack right here, because the amount of time it takes to do this is slower than just resetting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you don't need to spam it. Instead, you should just time it so that you just get the first 2 hits of the combo, since they are much faster. Bullet notes right there. One thing you can do right there also is, beforehand, we thought that the notes, the way the trajectory worked, was that we thought it was randomized. So sometimes before Zuka figured it out, when I would do the intro, we would always just fire the notes randomly. I thought it was just dependent on the direction you're facing. So sometimes the notes would orbit around the flybots, and then that wastes time, because everything in this tutorial is based on a cycle of the music. But turns out all you have to do is just run straight forward while shooting, and then all of your notes will always hit straight towards the robots. So that was very good find by Zuka. And now here is Zook, not to be mistaken. He's the drummer of the band. As you can see, we have a 3-hit combo right now, but you can do some special jump shenanigans. So, see, if I just press X willy-nilly, I do 3 hits, and then I have to wait for the whole timer to reset. But what you just saw there, I just did a rapid fire attack. So Zook can actually jump cancel all of his attacks, and each timing provides different properties. For instance, for the first hit of a swing, if you just press jump while you're pressing X, you can reset the combo counter back to 1. This is going to be very useful for the DJ Subatomic fight, mainly for that one alone. And then the other one, ooh, if I can get it. There you go. That's the rapid fire attack. So there are different ways you can trigger this rapid fire. One is if you do a ground pound and you time your attack correctly, you get the rapid fire motion. Or you can cancel off of a jump at the end of the first swing, and you still get it. So yeah, a lot of technical stuff that you can do in this game. Transformation here. And now we're going to go into the last part of the tutorial. And so this tutorial section, the transformation items and the waves are always going to be the same. Starts with 3 bumpers. You go right, flybots left, flybots plus groundbots right, and then more flybots, more groundbots left. No jump cancel there. Alright, 2 out of 3, I'll take it. Also, the faster you clear the tutorial section, you can potentially skip the attacks from the groundbots. Switch back to Mayday. Also, we're going to do a bit of optimization with switching from our partners. Oh. That's embarrassing. I actually did the wrong, I went the wrong way, actually. I was supposed to grab the notes for the second. But I was so caught up in switching characters. But that's fine. Maybe like a 605 tutorial. Alright, there you go. That's the tutorial, and
Yes! We did it! We
skip, and we get rejected. And now we just have a lengthy side scroller where we just run to the edge of the city, or in this case, we are going to roll. So, with movement in this game, there are 2 options available to us at the beginning, which is just running and rolling. And rolling is okay. That sucks. I got the unfortunate glitch where you can accidentally roll in a different direction other than when you're facing. That's fine. So rolling is faster than running, and then eventually after the Sayu/DK fight, we are going to get another upgrade from the skill tree, which is a air dash. And the air dash ability is going to be significantly better than rolling because we're going to use Mayday, since her air momentum is a lot faster and longer with the air dash. But right now, we're just going to stay as Zook because his ground movement is faster. And right here is just going to be a cutscene explaining how this contest or the audition was rigged against us.
I think this is a good time for us to reflect.
And then, what's it called? We're actually gonna, before in the last run, we actually started out as Zook, because we would attack the first disco ball when we go for DJ. But instead, we are going to go for a 4-planet 2 attack cycle. And so it's just easier to explain now so I can concentrate later on. But the starting positions of every planet and disco ball that come up in the DJ fight are always going to be the same, but the attack patterns are always randomized. So RNG can technically screw you over, but for the first phase, it's generally consistent as long as you hit all of the, if you hit the plans correctly. Alright, and we're going to keep rolling. And unfortunately, this cutscene cannot play until both characters are here. So ideally, you want to have Zook or Mayday teleport close to the end. Because right there, you just watched Zook have to walk all the way there. But that's fine. Go on top of the pole for some extra movement. Alright. And now onto the first fight.
Billions upon...
Okay.
What are you NSR people doing?
There we go. Double planets. And now they're going to spawn right here. And then we just hit all the planets again. And that's the boss. Or that's the first phase, I should say. Now second phase. This is where the jump cancels come in handy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can get around 8 to 9 hits if you get perfect jump cancels here. And it'll take around 4 planets to end the phase. And you'll see that each of these planets just keep zooming away after I damage it for a certain amount of hits. And this should be the end of the second phase right here. No hit. Alright, third phase, basically the same thing as before. Okay, a bit unlucky with that first attack. Please do not be the same planet. Yeah, that's fine. Just need to look for... Ooh, that's kind of rough. I can make this work. We can stand behind the planet here for the laser attack, so... See, I'm not getting hit because the planets are actually blocking it for me. This is actually a really good pace right now. Fight ends here. And now it's just an auto-scroller. And I just have to say, that was surprisingly clean. Whew. And now, last section is just nothing but another auto-scroller where you just have to parry. You are allowed to miss one parry in this section, but other than that, it's pretty simple, since they give you sound cues. It's always going to be the third of the... Or it's going to be 3 beats. And then one more parry. And we got a Shock the Lock Bam right here. Wow. There we go. That's the first boss right there. It'd be actually really interesting what that time was. Wow, okay, that's actually really good. I got, even though it says it's a 258, that's actually supposed to be a 1. The game for some reason cannot read below 2 minutes. So that's actually a 158 right there. So that's really good pace right there. That's almost my personal best. And then you're basically guaranteed to get an S on DJ. Even if you do, like, if you were to do this casually also, the game is very generous as long as you don't mess up on the parry section at the end. So you're always guaranteed 2,000 fans. It's not a whole lot, but we can buy almost the entire first layer of the skill tree for Bedbunk, Zook, and for Mayday. So we got a cutscene right here, but we're just going to skip it. And now, what's it called? We are going to meet Cliff, who is apparently our biggest fan, even though we literally just showed up out of nowhere. So, oh, and not just Cliff. We got, we can't forget about, wait for it, Gigi, the cool guy who just wastes time by putting text boxes in our faces. Just gonna keep rolling. And so, actually, also, while we're on the way to Cliff, we are going to grab a sticker, which is hidden behind one of the poster boards that we are going to be using for ledge rolling, which is another thing I didn't mention before. You jump here. If you ever roll off a ledge, you actually gain a small speed boost off of it. So you float in the air, and this becomes very useful for the Sayu approach. We're going to be using this basically throughout the whole run. And right there, I just grabbed this shoot level 2. So after we talk to Cliff, we are going to be doing everything, which is a bunch of upgrades. We're going to feed Ellie, which is our pet alligator, which will give us access to the quick travel. Just everything. We're going to lock the Castech district. Oh yeah, also, I've been trying to find ways to, like, work around talking to Cliff, maybe skipping ahead of schedule, maybe trying to, by exiting back to the sewers, but I have soft-locked myself around 10 times already, or with my whole playtime, because once you talk to Cliff, and if you go to the menu, you exit the sewers, you cannot talk to Cliff again. You have no access to the final player. So yeah, it's just fun that you have to replay another 10 minutes of the game just to, you know, just actually be able to play the game. Okay, so here's Ellie. So we can feed Ellie after every boss fight. That's how you refresh the timer. And so we're actually going to go to the stickers first. There's the shoot damage for Mayday. Mods are our abilities that we can use. The only mods that we use in these runs are projectile based. And then if you notice earlier on the top left when we had the actual, or while we were fighting, so above where our face plates are, we have arms that are like clashing their hands together. So that is an indicator of our meter. Mayday has 2 meters only, but her attacks are stronger overall, and then Zook has 8, but weaker, but still very useful. Let's see, what else to mention? Oh yeah, March attack. March attack is OP. So not only does it do a ton of damage to boss fights, but when we do the approaches, where we have to kill a certain amount of bots in order to progress through the stage, March attack is always guaranteed to kill 3 bots. So within every approach, we are using Mars attack to optimally clear stage with the right amount of enemies, and then we're also building up meter while we're doing it. 1, 2, 3. There's the soundtracks. And unfortunately, you cannot play the Christmas track on the first boss fight anyway. If I could, that'd be sick, but yeah. And now it's time for everyone's favorite boss fight. But the least favorite approach, is it least favorite? Maybe the second least favorite. Because everyone hates 10-10's approach. But so, the approaches, they're just platforming sections. So you see these gates, and there's the red circles on there. The red circles are indicators of how many enemies that we need to defeat in each level. So, for instance, this first gate right here, you only need to kill 1 bot. Gate opens, rinse and repeat. And it doesn't get as simple as this, unfortunately. Because the thing about the Sayu and the 10-10 approaches is that they have moving platforms in there. So enemy attack patterns, there we go. Enemy attack patterns and the music tracks are always independent of each room because it keeps resetting. But the moving platforms are dependent on how fast you are able to do these rooms. Because they're constant. Oh shoot, I missed the roll. That's fine. And for instance, right here, we need the optimal cycle here. We're going to land on this moving platform, roll off it, and trigger the respawn point here. So these 2 bots. Room 6. This room has also been kind of a... Okay. I don't think I got it. Yeah, I have to go for the safe route. Usually if I got it faster, I can actually just go straight forward through those pink platforms. But they were going to drop, so I had to go for the diagonal zigzag route. It's only like a second slower, but you always want as the best routes as possible. There we go. And this is the first use of Mars attack. Kills all 3 enemies, including a turret bot that was off screen. And you see, we just open the gate and we get to the end. But there's still 2 more rooms. Ledge roll, double jump. And here we're just going to go right, left, right, left. And there you go. That's the entire approach, and I'd say that's pretty good overall. Besides not getting the fast cycle on the 6th room, I would say that's okay. So, here's the Sayu fight. We're going to switch to Zook here, because Zook is going to have higher DPS with his rapid fire attacks on the non-moving boxes. Which I'll explain when it comes up. So, first phase, all we have to do is just keep rolling towards her. It's going to put us into 2 cutscenes. Alright. Ooh. That sucks. Okay, I'm slightly behind on the fight. At least for the first phase, it doesn't matter too much, but you don't want to be behind on this, otherwise you don't get the cutscene, you don't get a buffer on the transporter.
1, 2, 3, please.
Alright, so, you can see that, well, at least not see, because I skipped it, but on this transporter, you see that there is a motion person right here. So, there are 2 options we go for. We either have the motion box, or we can go for the, oh my gosh. So, motion box, or you go for music box. In this run, you always want to go for motion box, because this will disable all of Sayu's attacks, and what I got there was the Rain of Fish attack, like always. Sayu always has 2 attacks when you get near the motion box. She either does Rain of Fish, which is what you just saw, or she does Explosion. You want the Explosion attack because it's delayed, and so you have enough time to kill the motion box and dash away before it can hit you, but Rain of Fish, it comes out super early. I got clipped there, that sucks. It comes out really early, and it just interrupted me while I was attacking. But nothing you can do. It's a 50-50. Alright, pretty decent. Rapid cancels. Also, the skip button is tied to your transformation button. So in some instances, you can you just double tap the skip and then you get the transform immediately. Also, you can press skip along with the roll button, so that way I'm able to roll immediately after skipping a cutscene. It's just a good way of optimizing the movement. So again, we're just gonna go for movement buff right here. Sailor Moon quote right there. Now we're gonna switch to Mayday here, because we need to build up meter by stacking things, and then also, what's it called? Actually, that's mainly it. Also, it's because Mayday's transformations. So you see, whenever I'm playing music, these files get transferred to the turrets. That's the way all transformations generally work. So all Mayday transformations are generally offense-based, and then all Zook's transformations are all defense-based. But Zooks are generally pretty useless overall. No offense to him, but we just go for aggression. There we go. Three, 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to switch back to Zook so we can kill the art box, and then there's going to be a runaway section after this. There we go. And now it's time to run away. This section is definitely a lot worse when you play the higher difficulties, and probably for your first time, because you probably didn't understand, like, oh, we were just running away. And all the attacks are just always the set pattern no matter what. But if you just speed run it like this, oh, whoops, I didn't get my movement there. You're basically just dodging every attack because every time you activate the transporter, you have iframes, you have nothing to worry about. And that's pretty average. So. Alright, and now this last section right here, we are just going to stick to Mayday. So it's just the same thing as before. We need to kill all 3 of the other boxes before we can kill the art. But with the new sticker that we got, it makes killing these boxes a lot faster. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, that's bad. Okay. That sucks. Thank you. Let's kill this for notes. I was supposed to get all parries there, but of course I have to mess up somewhere. 1, 2. Yeah, this isn't gonna be enough. I need to grab more notes. Ah, yes, classic me. Always messing up somewhere. Especially at the beside you. Oh well, can't be perfect. Maybe around like... That's definitely 8 to 10 seconds maybe. And also, we got the S on DJ, so as long as I didn't mess up too badly here, if I get the S on Sayu, then we'll have the correct amount of fans to get the rest of the upgrades that we need for the rest of the run. Yeah, 6:01, that's a shame. Should have been under 6 minutes, but... Oh, wait, that's really bad. Yeah, missing that parry might have just cost me the run. Yeah, it did. Okay, I have to get a higher score on DK West now. Dang. So, normally, what we would do at this point is we would, when we get to DK West, which is another auto-scroller, fun times, we could just get a C rank, which is the lowest rank you can possibly get in this game, because you spend less time on the results screen. But because I missed that parry, we didn't get the S, so I need to go for a B rank.
Once again.
The only problem is, I would actually need to know what the damage threshold is for a B, so we'll just try and we'll wing it. If not, I think I can sacrifice 1 upgrade, maybe. And also, I cannot use any of the small Quasa to power up anything, because all the beginning stage, all of the beginning stages for feeding the items do not give you any significant amount of fans.
Yeah, take your time.
We can feed Ellie here again, this is the 2nd time. So, we're going to feed her the 3rd time after DK West, we're going to feed her a 4th time after Yinu, and then 5th after 1010, and then we get the quick travel station. Meet Zam, the person that we never talked to at all in this run.
Why don't you need what do you
Sure. Awesome.
Another useless melee sticker. Alright. Good old DK West. I mean, at this point, I really don't have anything to say also, other than that DK West is just an annoyance.
All he does is follow me. Like a stinking fly, he can't help it, cuz I'm the trailblazing guy. Zook knows nothing like a baby. Everywhere he looks, he thinks maybe.
I hope everyone had a good Christmas.
Show him the ropes, but all he does is move.
I slept a lot.
Nice.
That was good.
Hey, good old sleep. Nope, this is actually almost the earliest I've been up. I've always sleep at like 5 a.m., including yesterday. And I'm up now. No, I can just blame the run on that. I'm just tired, right?
He ain't nothing but a ridicule. He thinks he's a top student, but when in truth he's nothing but imprudent. Feels like he's entitled to everything. Tells the birds for him they should sing. Chest up, walks around proud, but a small push and he was sure drop loud.
Oh, also, I don't actually know what happens if you don't kill the hands exactly. But I am not gonna try out because I don't want to have to actually restart this. There's actually one point where I wanted to see if you can just, usually in all the approaches and all of the boss fights in the PC version, if one of your characters goes down, then you can just reset the boss fight from where you start and you get a C rank, which is actually a time saver, funny enough. So it's actually optimal to die in most fights. But yeah, in the DK West fight, I just decided to see if I can die at the very last phase. Turns out you can't restart at the point where you died here, so I had to play another 6 minutes of DK West, so that was really sick. Oh, also there are two other DK West fights, 2 and 3. You can access the second one after Inu, but we do not need to do that for NMG. 100% though, that is a requirement, since you need to get collectibles from those fights. Actually, I'm trying to theorycraft right now. Do I actually need to get a B? What I need to get? I need to get Air Dash, I need to get Parry, and then you get Mayday stuff. Now I'll just get the B, I'll play it safe.
Then how about Zook in college? He still thirsts for my knowledge. Only knows how to trill me by, or else I do high. He does nothing but cry. He thinks he's a real ace when he's a real bad case.
If only there's a way to speed this up.
And make mismatch tempos that don't groove. College is such a shame. The top spot is no longer his to claim. All respect he used to have. That's not but drop.
Yeah, sorry if this is like, it's just so quiet, but I actually just have nothing to say. It's just so, it's just so simple. Just dodge, weave, dodge, weave.
I mean, well, that's auto-scrollers and speedrunning, so.
Yeah, that's true. There's just nothing you can do about it, especially for 6 minutes. And to be fair, this game has a lot of unique movement and a lot of optimization for everything else. It's just these slow moments that just, you start losing your momentum.
He stole all my friends and none of his own. And Nadia, man, you remember that girl? You only added her because I was.
I guess I should mention it now. We do have the speedrun Discord available, and I would say this week I actually did work on a full Google Doc, which goes over the entire NMG route and 80% route. I'm not writing the 100% route just yet because it's not fully optimized, but yeah, it's over a 50-page document that's been worked on by me, by Zuka, and we also have the boss rematch category, so we have some people working on that soon. So yeah, if you ever needed the resources to start speedrunning this game, we have it for you. Also, okay, I'll go for a half health here. Okay, I'll start. You know, honestly, I feel like I might have gotten a C still, which could be bad. But I think I know what to prioritize. And this was the last part. Just need to destroy the hands here. Oh, whoops. And it's all good. Alright, now we can get back to the actual game. Uh-oh, that might actually be a C. Oh, wait, no, B. Okay, I did not want that. Not only did I not commit to it, but I still ended up wasting more time. Alright, time to adapt. Let's see. Alright, I think I know what I want to do. I want to prioritize the bed bump junction first, and then I will select which Mayday stuff I want. So, Yinu, Child Prodigy, and also we get to do an out of bounds skip for the approach, so that'll be fun. So, this is the third time we feed Ellie. Okay, let's see. Let's go bed bunk. We get air dash first. We get parry buff. Alright. Okay, we just don't get the second attack. That is completely fine by me. Alright, we can make this work. And here we go again. But before we can talk to Yinu, or talk, I say go to Yinu, we got Gigi again. And that's the last time you ever need to speak to him. And just do some air dash movement. We're able to land on top of these or the billboards that we were going on earlier. Alright, and here's another little bit of optimization we can do. So, normally if you transform the vinyl and you open the district, you have to stand still and then you let the whole cutscene play where the district's turning on. But you can switch characters in between, and now you can reposition yourself so that way you're able to get onto the platforms, and you can do this for every single district you unlock. So, quick note about the approaches. One thing to note is that, what's it called? The approaches, the way they work is that each room is generated individually. So, if you don't activate the transporter from one room, it doesn't activate anything else in the next room coming. So you can see where I'm going with this when I say we are going to skip a few rooms here and there. So, going to the left, air dash, jump, and now we're going to wait for visual cues because we just jumped over the death plane and wait for this triangular piece to disappear on the screen. And now we're in room 3. On the rocks. We're going to be falling for a little bit here. We're going to wait for the tip of the mountain to touch the top of the screen. Just a little bit of falling. Room 6. Go on top of this platform. Roll here. We're going to let these 2 rocks disappear. Room 7. There's an invisible barrier there, but we just have to wait for it. Wait for the full moon. We're in room 8. Room here, as long as Zook does not spawn near me. He did. Okay, I have to wait a little bit. Oh my gosh, unfortunate. Just gotta have to wait a little bit for Mayday. That one tends to be a little inconsistent. Sometimes a person will spawn because they need to rebound to the character. I just end up wasting like 8 seconds because I had to wait for Zook 2, or I had to wait for the cooldown. And so, here's Yinu. With the, before, we would need 4 sets of notes to shoot her down, plus a Mars attack. But, with the new sticker that we have, it only takes 3.5. This padlock right here is going to take 15 hits to take. It breaks here. Roll over. And so, what I'm doing right there, I'm standing still. So, that is the idle to meter gain ability from the skill tree. So, just doing nothing allows you to get full meter. So I have 1. Alright, I'm getting some pretty good drops right now. Okay, except for that one. Alright, next part. All we need to do is we need to transform all these oh, geez, that's some very bad placement. I'm gonna get hit here. I have to go for the parry. And now Zook has 3 notes now, so it's because we got the parry off, and that's the new buff that we got from the skill tree. Wow, this is really slow. Unfortunate. There we go. Fire all the notes. Go for some rapid cancels, and we just beat her in one cycle. And you can hit the mother during this little cutscene. I got 6 hits in there. That's decent. I didn't get any Didn't get any boxes in the last phase. That was because the turret placement there was really bad. So again, this placement's a lot better though. Wow, that's really... Okay. I see the game's making it up to me. Wow, it's really making it up to me. I mean, if you insist, I'm not gonna complain. Alright, good amount of damage. A bit of a... The reason why I'm taking damage there is because I actually want to die, so that way I get a C rank. Soda, okay. I need a large attack here. Okay, I'm actually gonna wait, because I'm fairly certain that the turrets actually stop attacking when you die. So here we go. Yeah, there's no repercussions for death in this game. There we go. So we're just gonna run to these mines. Each of them are gonna drop a set of 3 notes. And the attack pattern for the end, or this final phase, is always gonna be the same, as well as all the positions for the dropped items, which are the turrets and the boxes. Alright, these are looking good. Nah. I have to charge an attack here. Ah, I missed it. Oh wow, that missed attack actually cost me the good time. Whew, just mistake after mistake. Yeah, I was supposed to hit her with the charge first hit, and then that because I took damage there, I can just reset my attacks using a damage cancel animation, which is just transforming the music. And then it's not actually over. But guess what? It's just another auto-scroller. And another thing. Wait for it. I can't die. You cannot die during this section. These notes are trivial, and they mean nothing. But it doesn't matter. You can take as much damage, or you can take more damage, and that way you get... you spend less time on the results screen. I'm doing some things right, doing some things wrong. I wish I could just get things right the first time, so I can just get a sub 110, but... Actually, I can't speak too soon. It's possible. And there we go. That's the unique fight right there. Yep, we just broke her piano, and so we are achieving our dreams by crushing a child's. But it's for the sake of, the speedrun, so you know. See, it's cool. I don't even need to use... Yeah, I don't need to grab anything else now. Except, Yinu's boss fight does give us the last mod that we need for the run, which is for Zook, which is Arpeggio Assault right here. So all those golden notes that you saw me dodging and running into, that is now going to be our main attack for Zook, for the... as a projectile, and for dealing with the rest of the boss fights in the game. And we are just casually climbing up the leaderboards. Alright. And now for everyone's favorite approach coming up. This is the 4th time we feed Ellie. Go over to the mods. Zook. There we go, Arpeggio Assault. So now, both characters have projectiles that they can use for the range attacks, which, unfortunately, 1010 is all range at the final phase. But we get to that phase a lot faster after we do a certain skip in the run, or during the boss fight. But before that, I will say, there seems to be a correlation with how my 10-10 runs go. Because either I do well in the approach and then my boss fight turns really bad, or I do terrible in the approach but then my boss fight becomes really good. Because 10-10 definitely has RNG elements to it. But we'll get to that later. Yep, I had a feeling that's going to happen. Yeah, we don't need that district anymore. There we go. Alright. I will try and commentate while I'm doing the approach, but there is a... Actually, after the second room. First room I can just do fine. So, start off, you have 2 bumpers here. We're gonna go for the left one. And the main goal right here is to not only get to the rooms as fast as we can, but we need to build up as much meter as possible. So you just got a double parry there. You need to land the air dash and ledge roll there, otherwise you're gonna miss a cycle and you waste around 7 seconds. Red bot dies. And all those notes that we just got from parrying, we can kill the fly boss, which opens up the next room. We're gonna hit another double parry here soon. There we go. And then we can go all the way to the end. Alright, this room can be a nightmare because of the very last parts. 1, 2, 3. I need to hit the next spot in order to get one bit more meter. Oh no. Please. Oh my gosh. What did I tell you? You know, this is actually a good sign. That means that the actual fight... Let me wait for the... Here we go. This means that the actual boss fight will be good now, because I just messed up. Alright, and now at the very end, we have a ton of notes that we just used to kill all the fly bots in this room. So we just ignore every single ground enemy. Here we go. We are going to activate a respawn checkpoint by ledge roll into the air dash. And we make it to the rotation where we don't have to worry about jumping from limo to limo. A few more flybots gone. And then we're going to activate a second respawn checkpoint, fire all our notes. And that's the approach. I mean, it wasn't that bad overall. 5th room could have been a lot faster, but hey. Better than getting shot by a laser in midair, like the last run. Alright, so usually phase 1 it ends by killing one 10-10 member, but we are actually going to do some setup. So all the damage we do from phase 1 on the 10-10 members actually carries over to phase 2. So I planned it out so now green and yellow are going to be one-shots during phase 2, because we are going to be using Mars attack, which hits 3 enemies. So once we kill 3 10-10 members, we're going to use 2 of them, or we're going to use the last 2 to ricochet onto Neon J, which is off screen. And once we down Neon J, if we get the correct timing, it skips the 3rd phase entirely. There we go. And now it's just red. First Mars attack. Neon J gets hit. And now we just need to keep smacking these bots for more meter. As long as I don't get the timing wrong. We got it. Robots are sideways. And we just skipped the third phase, which is an auto-scroller. And now we're on to the final phase already.
think we're done.
And we're also building up meter in the process, which is good for us. And we're also going to hit by as many hits as we can. Just like the last fight, all the final boss attack patterns are always going to be the same here. So we're going to have a parry coming up. Let's see if I can land it. You got it. And this is the RNG I'm talking about. This was a bad amount of notes to get. Unfortunate. We're going to hit by the yellow bomb. Yellow bomb's gonna drop notes for us though. Nice, okay, that's good. When the approachable assaults miss, that's really unfortunate. Yeah, it should be done after this. Oh wait, it might not be. Man, that really, I am so mad whenever the red, so, yeah, what did I just mention? Right, the green attack, the first parry green attack. That is completely RNG, and the last run that we did on the show, we got a really good amount of notes. We got around, like, over 20, but this time we got, like, maybe 13 at most. It was really dumb. It's a roulette between 1 and 6, and I just low rolled. But hey, some runs just aren't meant to be. Sad thing is I did actually everything else correct too. But overall, it's still faster than having to wait through the entire third phase and then building up the meter from just standing still, doing nothing. And plus we also got the down anyway, so we get another cool. I believe that's the last C that is achievable. We could technically get a C on Tatiana, which is the last fight of the game, but that might be very hard to do depending on how fast I can kill her. And then Eve is always a guaranteed S, unfortunately, with the fastest strat possible. So, there we go. And then also, now we get to feed Ellie for the 5th time, and then we get access to her helicopter. So, something that's really nice about the quick travel is that when you go to the furthest location that's possible on the map, Ellie will drop you off right next to the vinyl player, so very good pet that we have. Alligators aren't so bad. So, go.
Big lift. Oh.
Huh?
Also, Eve is Zook's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. Now that,
You know, lore and stuff.
You ready? Zook.
Oh.
There we go. We're gonna have 2 text boxes. And we are flying over to the Naturia district. But again, the quick travel station that we're getting sent to is right next to the vinyl player, and then we just end up saving around over a minute from instead of having to run all the way from sewer to the end. Here we go. But Attendance District has some janky stuff that can go on. For instance, do not talk to that robot. You can actually do that by pressing A if you do not get your jump in. You have to dash over this entire bridge because that's a mini Quasa drainage, battery, whatever you want to call it. So your A press will get stuck there, so it's just better to dash over it. And you can't roll also, which is bad. And then also, there have been times where I've activated the quick travel that was on the way to the drop point. And then I just wasted time in the whole cutscene. So, this approach. We're gonna kill this red bot. We got a good nose placement here. So, before all the fly bots in patch 1.3, they took 3 notes to kill, but they have reduced that amount to 2 notes. Which means we can optimize the routing a bit more. So, we just opened the gate with just 2 kills, but we are going to keep hitting some more bots for some extra meter. 1, 2. There we go. Alright. I didn't get stuck that time. Oh, wow. I actually kill all the things fast enough, so... I need to smack the turret bot a little bit to get 1 meter here. Should take like 3 hits, probably. 1... Nope, 2 hits. Alright. That's actually not that bad, too. Alright, this room right here. Alright, left bot. Moves Mars attack. Kills these right 3 enemies. That's a perfect lineup, too. Okay. Another good lineup. We are going to skip the bumper and the black bot here. Go straight to the end. I missed the first swing. It's fine. Also, I'm doing a lot better on health this time, so I don't have to waste. If you die in the approach, it does not affect the rank of the boss fight, so it would be a waste of time to die here. I'm gonna only get 2 hits. There's the bumper, a lot more cooperative. Kill the last 2 flybots. This opens up the room. I tried to go for the kill without attacking. If you're fast enough on your swings, then you can kill it before it attacks, but it's fine. It's only like a second save anyway. Fire all of our nodes. Go in between these 3 bots. Mars attack for a second time. And that opens up the 8th gate, and then we're done with the approach. Alright. And now on to Eve. This boss fight is nothing but parries, and I'm going to be a bit quiet because I need to concentrate on these timing. But beforehand, all I have to do is you just keep parrying. You want to be next to the wall once you know that you're in kill range.
Hello? This pedestrian girl chose is a mistake. She is fire. Fire and sea do not mix. Hey, the name's Mayday, okay? Take it! Take it!
Phase 1. That's less damage than usual. I have to go for a bit more damage here. I was supposed to get a parry in the second phase, but I missed it. It was like 5 seconds, 6 seconds lost. Alright, let's see if I can get these parries this time. 2, 5. I got hit by her on the way there, but I got the correct amount of damage I needed. So you, there's some amount of parries that you can get in all those phases, and then once you get that right amount, plus with the notes that you shoot from the parry buff, you are guaranteed to always deplete your health bar. So there is no RNG in this fight, which is really good. It just all comes down to timing and practice. So it's supposed to be, let's see, you need 6 parries in the first phase, you need 5 in the second phase, and then you need 8 in the third phase. And then once you're done with that, you can kill each health bar within 2 room switches. It wasn't a bad time overall. And also the reason why you want to be close to the mirror is because once the mirror is exposed, that means its hurt box is active, so then you can start swinging at it, and then you can transition to your phase much faster. But because I got stalled up a bit, so I end up spending around 8 seconds in total just running at the wall. But again, just a bit of mistakes here and there. In that section, you just have to run at Eve. Don't parry those fireballs, because then you'll actually push Eve away from you. So you can iframe through the fireballs just by air dashing or rolling. Either one works. And that's the Eve fight right there. 352. That's okay. And it's gonna be an S no matter what. Alright, and we are almost done with the game. We are going to go to Tatiana, which is the last boss. We got a pretty slow finale, and then we are good to go. So, get all these stuff. Also, some people mentioned it, and some YouTube or the people who review the game and they talked about some of the boss designs. Unfortunately, there's really no way to go around the fact that the Tatiana fight is very, very it's very linear and kind of basic because she only has 2 main attacks. She either throws fireballs at you or she just swings at you. There's not a whole lot of creativity there, honestly. I'm sorry, I just have to say it, but hey, the simpler the better. Plus, Tatiana is another consistent boss fight. If there's any, if you were to discuss which boss, or on a scale, which bosses are RNG heavy, 1010 is by far the most RNG, and then second, RNG heavy would be 1010, probably Yinu because of the box and turret placements, and then Sayu is the least RNG heavy because of just the beginning of the second phase, and then DJ because the first section is pretty easy. It's usually consistent, and then you can work around the planets. You just have to adapt to where the planets are. But yeah, 1010 is a nightmare, and the fact that 1010 is near the the latter half of the game is just kind of annoying. If only we were a Mega Man game where you can select which NSR boss you would want to fight first. I think we would all want to go for 1010 first then, just to get rid of the RNG element. But then you don't have certain skills from the ability tree, so there's that argument too. And also, because we are technically in the boss fight already, so while we're waiting in this elevator, we're actually able to idle here, and then we can gain meter. So, we will generally have around 75 meter for both Zook and Mayday.
In other words, they've left us with nothing but chaos. And with chaos comes destruction. Look around you.
Just casually chilling on the drums.
Have invaded, and now they're using you to
also, I've been signing how to do the first phase correctly. So, before, or I should say, so the boss fight generally involves 2 cycles for each phase. So one is going to be the cog phase, where all you have to do is you have to hit a cog a certain amount of times. But the cog acts the same way like the plants in DJ, where after take a certain amount of damage, it's going to spin around and you have to chase it. So, we're actually going to be able to deal just enough damage during the first cycle where it zooms away, where we can just kill the cog within 10 hits and we don't have to run at it 2 times like we used to do. And then the faster that we kill the cog, the more time we get to attack Tatiana during phase 2 and 3. Phase 1, though, we need to kill the cog as fast as possible. So that way we can force Tatiana to attack us, and then we get to do some Mars attacks into iframes and a lot of fun stuff. So, that's the end of the monologue. And here we go.
I can't believe someone like you two were able to be my artist. I brought order and progress to the city. I had each district vote for their own charter. The quality of democracy.
Nice.
For
I really hope that was correct. I only got hit by 2 cards there, so it might have been the fast phase. It was. Ah, so close. But that's fine. Oh. That's a real shame. Okay. I actually cancel the attack by rolling. Dang it. Why can I never just do stuff correctly? Oh well. How much damage can I get here? I wasn't even getting that enemy. Many rapid cancels anyway. Alright, time to start smacking her. Normally, if I had finished that second phase faster, then Tatiana stays still longer, and then I can just use... What? Interesting. Huh. This game just really loves me. Alright, well, I would have said I could have kept Tatiana still longer again, but we can never have anything right going on. Oh, whoops, got the jump. Not perfect. I don't even think I can die here. Yeah, that's too... I'm too high health in order to die, so... Just have to play out normally. Alright, we have full meter now. And last part of this fight is just a matter of just pressing all of our mods, hitting her 3 times, and then we are done with the final boss. Also, I forgot to mention that those orbs actually slow you, or they freeze you in time, but they don't work all the time. Because that's definitely intended. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, oh. Whoa, that sucked. Oh my gosh. I didn't think my attacks just clipped through her. Well, so much for beating that world record, am I right? It's just so dumb. It just feels... There's sometimes in this fight in particular, after the update, sometimes the cog is actually just not responsive in terms of like you just won't get hit because you have to wait for it to move in order for the hits to actually connect. So before, like I would swing my first hit and then my damage is just off now because I missed swing 1 and I'm swinging 2, 3. I get the ender, extra damage, spins away, and then I'd have to just keep chasing it. So that's cool. And unfortunately not the best showcasing, but there's just no excuse. There were just mistakes on my end. But hey, that's why I just have to keep grinding it out until I get a good time. And then I also have to do the 100% category later on, so that's going to be fun. And out this finale. The finale is just another, well, it's not completely an auto-scroller. This helicopter section is, you have to just wait for it to go from district to district. We are reimbursing all of the artists that we have just knocked down. But there are some tricks to know about the finale. So, when we go to each district, there's going to be 4 transformable energy orbs that we need to play music to. And then once we transform all 4, we get access to the duet, and then we get to move on to the next district. So, placement of the orbs is always going to be the same. So, Eve right here is going to be a diamond starting from this right. I'm going to get hit here. Then it's going to be here. Wow. And what you just saw me do there, you can actually activate the duet early. So the game checks to see if you transform all 4 of the energy orbs, and if you do, at the end of the duet, then it plays the cutscene, and then you get to move on. So instead of having to wait for the orb to spawn and then transform it and then play the duet, we play the duet in between the spawn of the 4th energy orb. We transform it in between, and then because at the end of the duet, we just triggered the minimum requirements, and then we are good to go. And we're just going to keep doing this for every other district. So 10/10 is going to be a right triangle starting from the bottom left, going up, middle, and then back down right. I'm going to get hit by the orb here, maybe? No. Alright, I'm good. And then Yinu. Yinu is going to be a counterclockwise rectangle starting from the top right. Sayus is going to be a clockwise rectangle starting from the bottom left. And then DJ Sonatonic is going to be a hourglass shape starting from the top right. And then, yeah, that's really all there is to the finale. And another pain also from the update, all the robots that spawn, they hit you now. So you see every time I'm getting hit, I need to react accordingly, and then I need to damage cancel. Before, those robots were really inconsistent whether or not they would hit you or not. I'm going to do the duet there early because I want to use the iframes from it, so I can just ignore the explosion. Oh, wait. Oh, speaking of the thing I was doing. Huh. I got fixated on that robot trying to hit me. Yeah, we're for NSR now because, Cliff decided that he just wants to fire the satellite that we were, the billboard charts. He's fired it straight at the Vinyl City, so, just casually killing a few people just for the sake of being mad. Alright, Sayu. I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna activate the duet in order to iframe. Robot spawn. I should be fine here. There we go. Yeah, who would have thought? Because every game needs a twist villain, and movie needs a twist villain at the end of it. For that shock factor. Just going on a tangent, I thought it would be kind of cool if it was like, Cliff was the villain, and it turned out he actually had like a super form or something. So then the boss fight would start rock, and then you actually fight with when you start damaging him, it would turn to EDM. That'd be a neat design. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to damage cancel. Alright, let's. Meh. Alright, there we go. And that's the last district you go to, and then all we have to do is just fight Cliff, and then the game is going to be done, and then timer's going to end as soon as we do the last shock block of BAM inputs. Well, looks like I'm going to be playing this game a lot more. That's fine. I mean, NSR is a good game, honestly. For $40, and technically, again, you can buy for $17 while the winter sale's still going on. It's definitely worth. I think it's worth the money. The soundtrack is pretty banger. All of it's on YouTube, Spotify. I would definitely have to say the Christmas tracks are also really, really good.
You kids look like you could use a hand.
There we go.
Quick, you two, get on the Grand Croissant.
Alright, and then the longest 20 seconds of my life. Oh boy. And time. There you go. That is No Straight Roads, NMG.
GG's.
GG's indeed. Oh yeah, NSR was actually a metronome this whole time. Oh, fun thing to know also, if you're ever doing the 1% category, you need to play out the entire cutscene. Otherwise, you soft lock your game again. Because, you can access Tatiana, the hard difficulty, but as soon as you do that, you cannot access crazy mode for Tatiana, which is what you need for the second collectible. Or is it? No, the third one, my bad. But yeah, okay, that is NSR right there. Was it a perfect run? Definitely not. But I got to show off the few things I wanted, and, that just means I have more content for the future. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for showing that off. One thing I do like to ask runners when there are runners wanted, since the point of the show is to maybe get people interested in running the game, what category would you suggest for someone who maybe wanted to jump into speedrunning NSR?
So, depending on what you consider, or how much time you want to spend on the game. So, we have 4 main categories, each have different time sizes. So, if you want to just rerun all of the bosses with all your abilities, that's boss rematch. That takes around 25 minutes at average. We have no major glitches, which is the next category, which is the shortest. That takes around 35 minutes. And I can actually just, do you mind if I just show a quick thing really fast to explain how it works?
I think we need to get to Stubbs run sooner than later, so.
Okay, got it. Well, anyway, basically, you would just do an out-of-bounds glitch at the very beginning where the sewers are, and then when you do that, you can skip all the way to Tatiana after doing the DJ subatomic fight. So again, that's why it's 30 minutes, because you're going straight from boss 1 to final boss, and then you have NMG. This takes like an hour, 30 minutes average, and then Wonderland category, which takes around 2 hours. So you should take your pick. I honestly think NMG is the best category of all of them, just a lot of variety to go with, but hey, you do you. So yeah, also again, we have guides, Discord, we have all the resources that you need if you want to get into the game. And again, the game's cheap. I'm selling out. Please buy the game. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I just dropped the link to the Discord in chat. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the link to that Discord on the speedrun.com page for No Straight Roads. And speaking of the boss rematches that you mentioned, we are going to have one final run of today's episode of Runners Wanted, and that is going to be a boss rematches run by Stead McDreb. So hang tight. We're going to go to another brief break while we get that set up. But thank you again, Moistra.
No problem. Thank you for having me again.
We'll be right back. Back, and we have one more run for you, a bonus run of No Straight Roads content, because I couldn't get enough of the game after that last run. I am joined by Steb here, going to be doing all boss rematches, Christmas flavor variant of it. But before we get into that, I just do want to reiterate a few things I mentioned at the top of the broadcast. If you're watching on YouTube and would like to support our live content, please consider checking out our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick. And if you are viewing our live stream content, hello, glad you're here. And you happen to have a Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to any Twitch channel of your choice every month for free. Please consider using your Prime gaming account to support the weekly GQ Hotfix content, because Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits. We would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to support your broadcasts. Anyway, Steb, how are you doing today?
Been a pretty decent day. I've kind of just been chilling out. Thankfully, the timing of these shows means that on my end they happen in the evening, so I've kind of just had a fair bit of my day to practice, and I don't have to worry about waking up or anything. So, can I what? Oh, sorry. Yep, okay.
All right.
Yep, should be muted now. I do apologize.
It happens. Miscommunications on my end. But yeah, no, I'm glad to hear it. I know that the time slot for the show is definitely a good one for people that aren't necessarily in America. But for people like me on the West Coast, it means it starts before noon, so that's always fun.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I chose the time slot somehow.
Fair enough.
Anyway, before we get into this, so we just saw an MG from Moist Rock, and now we're going to be doing a shorter category with all boss rematches. I'm assuming it's what's on the label.
Yeah, basically, we are not going to be doing any of the the story content. We're not starting from the start or doing any of the approaches or anything like that. We're just going to be going, because after you beat a level, you can refight all the bosses. So we're basically just going to be going back into those rematches with fully leveled characters, with all the skills available, and with the best sticker setups. You can see down there, I've got Mayday loaded out with projectile damage, and I've got Zook loaded out with melee damage. Got all the character mods you might need, and we're basically just going to be doing these as fast as we can.
Awesome.
And also for a little bit of... Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was probably about to say the same thing you were, so you take it.
Yeah, for a little bit of added flair, we are going to be doing the Christmas versions of all these bosses, because a few weeks back, Metronomic released an update that basically adds Christmas reskins of all the bosses, so it changes the bosses, the stages, as well as Mayday and Zook to new Christmas-themed designs, and also adds Christmassy remixes of the boss theme. So I'm just going to go ahead and get right into Tatiana's level, because we start with the final boss, because of course we do, and as soon as I hit the hijack concert, the timer is going to start. So should I give you a countdown?
Yes, please.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And we are in this. Okay, so the strat that we're going to be using is fairly similar to the one that Moistrock was using at the end of his run, except we have a lot more damage to work with. We're going to be doing the same sort of strats of like crown manipulation of cog manipulation with Mayday's charged attacks. Oh, and I've already messed it up. Okay, so if we do that fast enough, then we can get on a good cycle with Tatiana, where she will teleport straight to us, right at the start of her of the phase. But that's unfortunately not going to be happening, and in fact, she's going to be hitting a point in the music where she's going to want to start teleporting around a lot in between melee attacks. So I actually don't know if we're going to be able to get as quick a cycle as we want. Unless I can do enough damage here, and yes! Okay, managed to hit the cycle at the last possible second. That is actually quite clutch. I'm amazed I managed to hit that. I just keep hitting hit the thing. Okay, so now the first thing to know about the Christmas fights, besides all the cosmetic differences, is that they do actually behave very slightly different from their regular counterparts, usually in ways that make my life more difficult. For example, Tatiana in this phase is going to be more inclined to be teleporting around, whereas normally we might be able to do a lot of damage to her before she starts going anywhere. In this fight, instead, she's going to be teleporting around a lot during this phase, so it's just going to waste a little bit more time on our part. But sometimes you got to take a little bit of time lost to get that festive cheer. Sometimes it's about doing what's fun instead of what's fast with some categories. But yeah, aside from that, this fight isn't going to look a whole lot different than usual, aside from the fact that we have the max combo length with Zook, which means our jump cancel is going to be a whole lot more potent, and we don't have to chain as many together. So we're already at the end of this fight, and now I'm gonna crack this open. There's a minor bit of RNG here. If I get a can of cola, then it's not as good. But if I didn't get any energy pickups at all. Okay, basically, if you manage to get like the max power like mod energy pickup, then we would have been able to basically iframe through Tatiana's first attack on the way down with super attacks, with Zook's arpeggio assault mod rather. But instead, we're not going to have enough energy to be able to get all the way through, so instead it's going to be more worth our time to just tank the damage and go with a regular jump cancel combo. So we're just going to mash our faces right in there. We're going to mess up one of our jump cancels, and then we hit the showstopper, and then we quit out. Unlike the other categories, we don't have to watch like any of the cutscenes or the results or anything, because, I mean, we've beaten the boss, it doesn't matter, we've already got everything we need to do. And also that means that the game doesn't technically count the bosses having been done, so we don't lose any of our stickers. So now we're going to teleport back to the sewers, and I've gone to the wrong place. I pressed up one too many times, and I teleported 10-10 instead of Eve, which fine, whatever, I can work with that. So basically, we would be about to fight Eve instead, but instead we're going to get 10-10 out of the way, which, I mean, isn't that bad, because 10-10 are one of the more annoying bosses. Trying to hit 10-10 skip is something I have a lot of trouble with, and it seems like it's harder to hit on the Christmas variant of the fight, but with any luck, I should be able to hit it. We're going to be doing a similar thing to what Moistrock did in their version of the fight, except we are going to be using a slightly different strategy. Already I've messed up slightly because I wanted to hit the blue 10-10 there a few more times, and also I wanted to be in the middle of an attack when we got pulled into the cutscene, so the Zook would have tried to idle for energy during the cutscene, so we would have had a little bit more energy to work with. Okay, so we're gonna go over here. parry red, we hit yellow 3 times for a single combo, and then we're going to parry red again, and then we're going to do the same thing with green. See, so we hit green, and now we transform red to a level 2 turret, and we charge up for a Mars attacks, and only one of them... Okay, this is a problem. Okay, so we are not going to be hitting 10-10 skip in this run. That's actually incredibly irritating. Oh well, these things happen. Turrets that we have are going to be able to hit Neon J. This is a part in the previous run. Okay, so he is... Now that his health is gone, unfortunately, we do have to watch this next phase, which wastes a fair bit of time, but thankfully what it does mean, if nothing else, is that we have abilities whereby parrying, we can get projectiles for both Mayday and Zook, and I've missed one of my parries. Incredible. My game froze, so I didn't get a chance to... Ugh. It's not my day today. Okay, so now we have as many notes as we can possibly have for both Mayday and Zook. So now we're just going to idle for a bit more energy and hope that we have enough to have full bars on both of them, which we will. So if nothing else, this means that once the third phase starts, we are going to be able to just beat into Neon J. So yeah, the crowd gets frightened because 10-10 are no longer handsome, sexy robots. And now Neon J is going to come in to handle the rest of the fight. And we have to wait a little bit for this bit of the cutscene to play. We can't skip this. Now we can. Just going to launch a whole bunch of projectiles in. And then we're going to fire, like, rapid fire a whole bunch of projectiles at Neon J, because you can actually fire slightly faster if you press the fire button with both the mouse and with the controller. My commentary has probably been all over the place. I'm all sorts of frazzled right now. Things are going wrong that aren't supposed to go wrong. Anyway, now we're going to go over to this telephone, and now we're going to go to the boss that we were supposed to go for, which was E. And this boss, thankfully, is a fair bit easier, although it's made slightly harder in this scenario, because the audio splitting that I'm doing for GDQ basically means that there is just enough of a bit of audio delay that some audio cues for parries and such I'm going to have to real quick learn to do by sight. I can do it, but it's just... Okay, managed to hit those. Eve doesn't have a whole lot of health, so we're just going to let a whole bunch of bullets go, and I accidentally did too much damage. Normally we're supposed to be right over at that glass pane when that phase ends, but it didn't really work out quite how I wanted it to. I got a little bit too over-enthusiastic. Here we're just gonna get a level 3 turret going, which is gonna do a whole lot of damage to Eve. Generally, anytime you can get a level 3 turret, you're gonna want to do it. There we go, managed to get a clean phase. Now we get a better look at sort of Eve's Christmas design, which is my favorite one because it looks like she got into a fight with the menorah and the menorah won. And I just think that's a good aesthetic to have. We missed one of the parries we were supposed to get, but thankfully Eve has low enough. Are you joking me? I got knocked away right as the glass pane showed up. Oh well. Okay, so now we're just gonna sort of, pretty much as Moistrock did, we're gonna sort of just zip on down to the end of this corridor and then do the ending phase of the fight. This is annoyingly, even in this category, this is one of the 2 fights along with Yinu where we do have to actually watch the cutscene after the showstopper, just because there's a little bit of gameplay at the end. So we're just gonna chill out and watch this here for a little bit. Normally this is where I'd still be explaining a few little things about the run, taking this time that I've been afforded, but Moistrock kind of did a lot of that for me, so if you've been here for the previous run, then, I mean, if you know, you know. Thankfully, we at least get to indulge a little bit in more of the sort of new Christmassy flair. So we're gonna skip this, and then...
Everything is
Could I? Okay, I got hit by that. Did not want that to happen. I mean, this is still fine, but come on. There we go. Okay, so once this second vinyl record thingy has come up, then we're going to be able to skip. Then we're going to be able to exit back out to the overworld and get on with the run. I swear, I go into these with more of an idea of what I'm supposed to say, and then the words leave me. Okay, let's get out of here, and then we're gonna pick up the phone, and we're gonna go to Yinu. Make a note of that. We're not going to 1010 again. Normally my muscle memory says go to 1010 after Eve, but we just did that. Okay, so we go over here, go to Ventura Concert Hall. Yep. Actually, I remembered what I was supposed to do. Thinking on the fly, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, and all those who feel that the gender binary is for squares.
That's me.
Anyway. Yeah, right on. Anyway, we're going to go into Yinu. And we're going to be seeing this is probably one of the ones that diverges the most heavily from what you're going to be doing in the... Sort of as we get to the earlier bosses, where we have more room to do things and use abilities that the NMG run doesn't have access to, the more differences there are, as I'm sure you can imagine. Just beat into that, and now what we're actually going to be doing here is we're going to be doing a bit of damage to Yinu's mom early, because the combo finisher on a max length Zook combo is actually wide enough that it can hit Yinu's mum from the ground. I didn't get as many hits as I would have liked because my jump cancels weren't quite that good, but thankfully we still managed to get through the phase relatively quickly. And now we are... Oh no, wait, they're over there. Okay, yeah. Here we're going to be able to get 2 level 3 turrets going at the same time, which is going to be doing a lot of damage to Yinu. And then we switch to Zook. Get a jump cancel in to do the remaining damage. And now you can see there, I'm holding down a transformation, because Zook has an upgrade where while he's transforming, he can't be interrupted by damage. And I did not do, like, any damage at all. Why can't I attack? Well, that went horribly. There's a skip I'm supposed to be able to do here by what do you call it? By doing enough damage to Yinu's mum during that cutscene transition. You can make it so that, because the first time she goes down here, you end up doing damage to Yinu's mum. But instead, if you do enough damage, you can make it so that it will immediately transition to the next phase. But for some reason, we lost our ability to attack, so that's not happening. Instead, we're just going to transform a bunch of level 3 turrets and let them do their thing. The bright side of this is it means that Yinu's mum is going to have a lot less HP to work with than would otherwise be intended in this route.
Mama?
And you can see there that we actually died, but thanks to an upgrade we have, means that once per death, we are allowed to basically get given all of our health, and normally a bunch of ammo. The health sticks around between boss phases, but the ammo doesn't, which is actually rather irritating. That was a very sloppy, Yinu, but these things happen in a marathon, I suppose. So yeah, now we're gonna hit this showstopper, and again, this is another boss fight similar to Eve, where because there's a bit of gameplay after the showstopper, we can't just quit right out immediately after we hit it. So we're just gonna let this play out, and then no talk me I angi, and then yeah, this is basically just like an auto scroll, so that's gonna be another like 30-45 seconds of not a lot happening. So this is basically just a point in the run where you can like reflect on how things are going. Whether you think you can still PB this deep in the run, I can't. Or just reflect on how your day is going, how the weather's been, state of life and people around you and everything. Time to wait and be alone with your thoughts. And really, I feel like that's underappreciated in the context of a speedrun. Can you agree?
I'm sorry, I was thinking about my thoughts.
Okay, time with our thoughts is over. Time to get on. Now we can quit out. Time to get on with the next boss. And now, this is my kryptonite. I can never remember where the phone is. It doesn't load in on the minimap immediately. So we're just gonna get out. Okay, phone is over there. Now we're gonna go to Sayu, which is probably the longest boss of this run in terms of the actual fight. It is probably the one that I have the most trouble with, just because things always, like the most minor things, always seem to go wrong that end up messing me up. Anyway, let's transform. Let's go to Christmas. And let's just get right in here. You can see this underwater vista has been turned into a kind of sort of a winter wonderland aesthetic, which is very nice. Ow, don't normally get hit by that. That's frustrating.
Hey, how about you come down here and face us? Let's get her, Zook. I want to pinch her cheek.
We're going to be using mostly Mayday for this instead of, train of thought words stop coming. Basically, we're gonna mostly be using Mayday instead of using Zook to DPS down the panels that the previous run did. We're gonna be doing that so that we can build up a full energy bar for Mayday, so that we can use 2 uses of her skill, more than one transformer, on the second phase of the fight. Which basically means we can turn both of the turrets that are available into level 2 turrets and be able to destroy these things without actually having to walk up to them or do any damage. So it saves a lot of time. Because who needs to walk around places, you know? We're gonna have to do a few damage cancels here, just because, unlike Zook, Mayday can still be interrupted while she's transforming things. Basically, hitting these things twice and then getting a level 1 turret going on them is going to be enough damage to be able to just walk away like a cool person, not looking at an explosion. My jump cancels today. Ugh. Didn't even get to do one. That was shambolic at best. Are the makers of Sayu holiday costumes? Sadly not, I don't think.
Stop running away, Sayu.
Okay, let's turn back to Mayday. Get over here. Same business, get a level 1 going. I always run to the side there for some reason. I always forget where the transforming rail glide thing actually is. And it always comes back to haunt me. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna pray for a bit of luck here, because sometimes they just decide not to transform. Okay, we got 1 level 2, which is enough. Yeah, apologies for not explaining jump cancels if you're only just coming here now. I completely forgot the thing I was supposed to do. Oh dear. I was busy looking at the chat and apologizing for my slightly off commentary, and I entirely forgot the entire routing purpose of this boss fight.
Just speedrunning things.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to keep playing as Zook, just so that we can... Just because there's no real reason to change back until later, when we, the actual, like, fight part of the fight, and we can, like, take advantage of Mayday's, projectiles, then we'll switch back. But for now, might as well just stay as Zook. Means that we don't get interrupted. And don't get stuck on the geometry. Okay, also going into this fight as Zook means that we can kind of, we can just let a bunch of music note projectiles go, and then switch back to Mayday without having to worry about getting that damage in at any point. Okay. Okay, so now we get that parry, go for some shots, get another parry, go for a few more shots. I probably could have just switched to Zook there, but it's fine. Okay, finish the fight, hit the showstopper, and we quit out. And now we're going to be going to the final boss of the run, who is ironically ironically enough, the first boss of the game, DJ Subatomic Supernova. And we go to him last just because the phone, once you come out of his fight, the weight of the phone is it's like way in the back, so it'd just take too much time to run to, which is why we leave him for last. He's also, thankfully, the quickest boss fight of the run, so no, gotta set it to Christmas, gotta remember to set it to Christmas. So this fight isn't going to take very long, and we are going to be hitting time right at the end of it. We go in as we make a point of going in as Mayday instead of Zook because, okay, never mind. Sometimes we theorize that going in as Mayday instead of Zook would mean that you don't have to run as far, but sometimes you just have to run that far anyway. Okay, so his health is already gone because of the amount of projectiles we have. And now the reason we use Mayday for this fight is she has a skill where killing things with melee drops more projectiles, except because these planets are programmed to drop projectiles on every hit, they drop those bonus projectiles with every single hit. So that, combined with the fact that Mayday has a skill to randomly be refunded projectiles, means that we basically get all the projectiles we could need from hitting like one planet. So we're just gonna hit this a bunch of times, and look at the amount of projectiles we have, I mean, really. So we're just gonna go for a whole bunch, and then basically finish this phase immediately. Oh, no, okay, no, he needs a little bit more damage. And this should be enough. Okay, we're gonna go into the last phase, and we're gonna basically do like 1 or 2 parries, and then time is gonna be coming up once I hit this final showstopper. Launch up a bunch of projectiles. Hit the showstopper, time. Is no straight roads, all boss rematches, Christmas.
Awesome. That was really cool. I love the Christmas like skins. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like more games should just have random Christmas updates. That's just fun. That feels like the sort of thing you would get in like a game on like the PS1, PS2, where they just put like Easter eggs that make everyone Christmassy, just for the heck of it. I feel like that's something that's kind of been lost in video games. Stuff like old cheat code type stuff, like codes that would like make everyone explode or give everyone giant heads. Just charming stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big head cheats are some of my favorite.
Yeah, this game has a lot of that kind of charm.
Yeah, and like full disclosure, when I found out that this game had the Christmas skins, that was half the reason that I planned this episode. So for this day in particular, because it is Boxing Day. So
very nice.
But yeah, thank you so much, Steb, and thank you to Moistrock for the previous run, and Boring Cactus for the first run of the day. If y'all are still hanging out in chat or watching this VOD later, I appreciate y'all all so much.
Definitely big shout outs to all the other runners, and big shout outs to both No Straight Roads and Sayonara Wild Hearts. Both quite fun speed games. I mean, I haven't run Sayonara Wild Hearts myself. I've not even actually played it, but it does look like a very intriguing kind of speed game. So absolutely, if anything you've seen today is like interested you at all, go check it out. We're on the Runners Wanted show for a reason. We need the people.
Yeah, these are 2 great games. In my opinion, very underrated, very deserving of new runners, either experienced runners, or if you want this to be your first speed game, it's a great choice. But that's going to be
absolutely.
That is going to be it for this episode of Runners Wanted. I will talk to you all again after HDQ for the next episode. But if you love hotfix content, our next show will be on Monday. It's going to be Community Spotlight. And if my producer in my ear could please tell me what the show is again, because I've already forgotten. It's going to be a preview of games that are going to be at HDQ, but different categories. Thank you very much, Relkun. So you're not going to miss that. It's going to be a great show. But we are going to go on a bit of a raid, so hang tight while we get that all going. And I will talk to you all next year. Have a Happy New Year.